I say, hey, good L-O-O-K-I-N-G. I said, what the fuck you gonna do to me? And something else that I kind of forgot to sing. Cause it's good old T-R-O-U-B-L-E. Hey, everybody, and welcome to Talking Tremors. I am your host, Levi Dylan Burzloff. Hopefully you knew that already. If not, hi, hello. That was the song from Tremors 2, so I hope you know what the fuck is gonna happen next. It's not gonna be about Tremors 2. Well, I mean, it's not gonna be about the one that you think that it's gonna be about. It's gonna be about this Tremors 2 from 1993. You shocked to yourself. What? What do you mean? You lie, I say. There is no Tremors 2. There is a 1996 Tremors. There's not a 1993 Tremors. Well, Mother Humphreys, you're all wrong. You're all wrong. It's a great script here, written by S.S. Wilson, Steve S.S. Wilson, and Brent Maddock. Legitly written, as it says, in 5/12/93. Oh, wow, I should have done that. I didn't even notice the date. I should have done that on May 12th. Oh, wow. Whoa. Okay, so, like, in terms of serendipity there, Fred Ward did die on 5/13. So, 5/12/1993 is like, what? And then even more so, this is why the May 14th is in the script. Because it's May 5/14, 2 days after the beginning. So, wow, I didn't even notice that, folks. I found that one on the fly with you. We discovered that one together. But, yeah, oh my gosh, I have to stop for a second, because that's really, like, Fred Ward died on that. That's the, wow. Whoa, so that's insane. Like, seriously, yeah. 5/12, this script is written. I can't tell if you can read that. It's backwards, but yeah. 5/12/93. Work draft number 5. I'm assuming that's what that WD5 means. And then, yeah, Fred Ward died on 5/13. That's fucking freaky, man. Wow. I've been wanting to do this, too, and I actually been putting it off because I wanted to do it when I did the regular Tremors 2 in my terms of order. I thought it would have time, you know, but now I'm like, oh no, Fred Ward died, I gotta do this, and I'm like, shit, I should have done this before Fred Ward died. Fucking A. So if you don't know already, I'm gonna read this script. I'm gonna do all the voices for it. Gonna have a fun time. I wore a hat. For podcast audience, you should check out the video. We're doing some live Twitch streaming right now. And then there's always the YouTube channel. The Tremor Saga puts this up for me. Thanking you. But yeah, if you want to see more fun, you gotta check out the video podcast land, because then you get to see me drink water, and I get to shame you for not drinking water. Although this is 121 page, 120, I think it's 121 pages. So we're gonna be here a while. So I might need to take a pee break or two with this gigantic gallon thing of water. Cause I gotta drink it. I got, you know, my ginger ale, Canada Dry, and my PBS coffee. Yeah, can you see that? It's brown. Yeah, it's not Guinness either in a coffee cup. Alcohol is gross. If you have other things, use those things. It's that time right now. Hey, hello. Oh my God, my first Twitch person. Hello, Helios. Hi. You're gonna enjoy. This is gonna be nuts, man. Like, if you thought the last one was fucking crazy. And I have to say, folks, I'm going to be doing different voices here. All across the spectrum. You're going to be introduced to my concept of, I don't think that you can be necessarily racist while doing voices. If you do everybody and you caricaturize, or actually, I don't like to, it's not caricatures. I really do try to embody people as they're going here. So if I get a little too Mexican or something, you know, like, just remember, it is in the spirit of things. Don't hate me too much. It's kind of like wearing a hat. You know, it looks ridiculous, but, like, you're still like, whoa, Val, because of the long... Hey, guys, so listen. I'm going to tell you about hunting graboids. Now, it may seem like a simple thing. You know, you just go out there with your RC car, your dynamite. But listen, there's a little more to it. There's a little more finesse. You know what I'm saying? God damn it, Valentine, would you stop fucking jerking off and do the killing already? Listen, Earl, I would like to tell our viewers what they need to know, how I feel. I don't need you. Well, you know, you're kind of like fucking up the flow. Fair enough. So, I mean, if you're into it. Otherwise, get the fuck out now. But again, water time. And if you want to read the Tremors 2 script along with me, the Discord, the Tremor Saga always posts shit in the Discord. There should be a channel for Tremors 2 Lost Monsters. Go to there, check it out. I assume that second person is Alex. What's up, Alex? Yeah, I see that. See, I have a grand total of 2 viewers. Boom. We got Helios and Alex. Where's Evan? That's the last one. You guys really love the Tremor Saga. I want you to marry them too, but I don't think it's gonna happen. It is. There it is. So yeah. Yeah. If you, like I said, go find this. Actually, this is on Facebook too. There's a Facebook group for the Tremor Saga, and they put these all up as PDFs, so you can download them too. Because Imgur is kind of nice, but it's a pain in the ass. It's much easier to download a PDF and go all the way through it. So yeah, now that we have Helios, Alex, and Evan here, time to get into it. Tremors 2, written by Steve S.S. Wilson and Brent Maddock. Man, oh, God, this is... I've been waiting to do this because this is fun. I'm looking at the table of contents just like, yeah. You only get one spoiler for everything. I'll read it. It should be, what's the... Yeah. Page 97, muzzle loader battle start. Hey, you're not gonna ruin shit, man. Jump in and out. We're all people. Oh, here we go. Tremors 2, The Lost Monsters. Fade in. Exterior desert, oil field day. It is dead quiet. We start low on desert brush, then tilt up and pan slowly across empty desert, shimmering in the heat. Superimpose Sonoran Desert, Mexico. Pan continues past a row of huge bird-like oil pumps, but they are motionless. Suddenly, we're startled as something roars through frame, very loud. It was a car. Exterior, interior, car moving, day. An old Chevy roars and bounces along, carrying a panic-stricken Mexican family, a father, mother, and their 4-year-old girl. Their car is jammed full of all their worldly possessions. As they roar around a bend, they come upon a battered truck, hood up, blocking the road. The father hits the brakes. 3 tough-looking Mexicans look up from the stalled vehicle. The father leans out of the car, waving for them to move and, oddly, whispering to them in Spanish. Father. Muévase a un lado, rápido! But the men casually reach into their trunk and pull out guns. They are bandits. The father pounds the steering wheel in frustration. The mother frantically signals him to be quiet. As the bandits sidle up to the car, the father tosses out his wallet. The bandito leader catches it. He and the others train their guns on the victims, but the family, strangely, seems more concerned about what might be behind them. Father, Ayangote, atenmo! Su dinero yo no puedo tataramara. The banditos ignore him, leaning into the car and pawing through their belongings. The leader orders the father out of the car. Bandito, sell the carro! The father keeps staring wide-eyed back down the road and shakes his head. No, senor, no. The bandito angrily fires shots into the air. The father is terrified. He holds a finger to his lips. The bandito thinks this guy is a real loony. Behind the terrified man and his crying wife, the wide-eyed little girl stares, not at the bandits, but out the back window. She points quietly back down the road, but no one takes notice. Angle, little girl's POV, 3 mounds of dirt churn across the desert towards us. Back to scene. The big bandito is furious at the father's suicidal impudence. He lowers his pistol, aiming it at the father, dead serious. Sal del carro! And he slowly cocks his pistol. And then there's a deep rumbling getting closer. The bandito glances around uneasily, and dust explodes at his feet. He screams as he's lifted high into the air, waist deep in the giant hungry maw of a graboid, a huge subterranean worm bursting straight up out of the ground. 3 thick tentacles in its mouth snake up around him, holding him firmly, covering with slime. He vainly fires a full magazine down the beast's gullet, but the graboid swallows him in 2 jerking gulps. The mother grabs her little girl and holds her close. The father sits trembling, stock still, eyes closed tight. As the 2 other banditos look on in horror, the horrid creature submerges back into the earth, pausing briefly to exhale a cloud of gun smoke. Terrified, the other banditos break into a frantic run for their truck, shouting Spanish obscenities all the way. Through all this, the family in the car simply sits very still. The father gently shuts off his engine. The banditos reach their truck, slamming the hood down, trying to climb in, but the earth erupts around them. The ground is obscured from our view by their truck in foreground, but we know what's got them. The other 2 monsters. They scream bloody murder as their bodies are jerked side to side. Tentacles slither around them, and they're pulled down out of view behind the truck. We hear the rumble of the 3 sated subterranean behemoths as they wander off back into the desert. When they're gone far enough, the father gently reaches for his ignition, starts the car, and floors it, nudging the bandit's truck aside and racing off into the distance. And now, blasting onto the screen, main mother-humping title! God damn. That's how you start a fucking movie. Exterior, Val and Earl's Ranch. Dissolve to exterior, Val and Earl's Ranch. Day. Again, we start low on desert brush. And again, we tilt up to superimpose Black Rock Desert, Nevada. Pan starts, but is suddenly interrupted as 2 guys are tossed face down in the dirt. They roll over, and now we recognize Valentine McKee and his partner, Earl Bassett, looking none too happy. Val and Earl climb to their feet. Now we see they are just outside a corral. They lean on the fence, Val recoiling a lasso as they look off at the unseen animal that just dumped them on their asses. Val hands Earl the lasso. Your turn. Ugh. Only way to get Wildfire in that corral is we shoot him and drag his dead carcass in there. He gets riled up when he sees us coming. Just one of us ought to sneak up on him. They stare at each other wearily. They both hold out their fists and start their decision-making ritual of scissors, rock, paper. Val shoots his hand flat as Earl shoots out 2 fingers. Scissors cuts paper. Val climbs into the... Earl grins and hands back the lasso. Val climbs into the corral. Wildfire's POV of Val, looking down at Val as he circles the ornery beast and twirls his lasso. Come on, Wildfire. Come on, boy. Let's go meet Susie. You'll like her. You two gotta get together. Val tosses the lasso past camera. It goes taut. Val smiles. Got him! And Val is yanked right out of frame. Exterior corral day. Val is dragged on his belly across the corral. Whoa, boy! Whoa! Val lets go of the rope and slides to a dusty stop right beside the fence. Earl bends down beside him, amused. Ride him, cowboy. You could shut up. Val gets up, disgusted, and climbs out of the corral. Camera moves around them to reveal Wildfire, an ostrich, 7 feet of feathered ugliness. In another corral behind Wildfire, a female ostrich paces back and forth. Val gives up and walks off. Earl follows. They head for an aging mobile home surrounded by piles of collected junk, their old blue Jeep pickup on blocks for repair, assorted easy chairs, and a sofa arranged like an outdoor living room. I've had about all my fill of ostrich farming. Earl, we are in on something here. In on the ground floor. Ground floor? We're locked in the damn basement. With Big Bird. We can't even get them to mate, Val. All they do is eat. Val, trying to ignore him, marches into the mobile home. Interior mobile home day. They enter. The place is what you'd expect. Manly, tasteless, a shambles. One wall is thumbtacked and scotch-taped with magazine covers and newspaper articles. Photos show Val and Earl posing heroically with dead graboids on the cover of everything from People to National Geographic. Headlines read, Local duo slays underground monsters. Handymen save town from graboids. Scientific importance of discovery eludes monster killers. Earl drops onto the sofa. Val steps over to an out-of-place arcade-sized video game, Tremors, which features a colorful rendition of a graboid on the side. He starts boredly playing. Earl decides to broach a touchy subject. Val, we're not cut out for the poultry business. We gotta get ourselves some normal jobs. Normal jobs? Damn it, Earl. We're not normal. We are celebrities. We just need money. We do some more interviews, go on some more talk shows. Forgotten all about us, Val. We had our moment in the sun. Now we can't even pay the damn phone bill. How much did we get the rights for this thing? 5,000. Flat. Damn it. Should have held out for a percentage. The game makes a graboid noise and flashes, You've been devoured. Game over. Val kicks the machine and slumps into a chair. Hate them worms. Okay. We're in sort of cash flow crunch at the moment. That's just because we're about to slingshot forward. Slingshot, huh? Then why'd you leave Rhonda and move in here with me? Val is baffled. Earl is coming totally out of the blue. What the hell has that got to do with anything? It wasn't working out with me and her. We're going down the tubes here, Val. You knew she'd be making more money than you, and you couldn't handle it. There's a timid knock at the door. Neither man notices. Hey, don't you give me any more advice about women. Val gestures to an old Playboy centerfold taped to the wall. Miss October, 1968. You and Miss October, 1968. Val, you had somebody real. At least somebody with phone service. Val has no comeback. Earl is right. The knocking becomes more insistent. Val leaps up and yanks the door open, revealing a well-dressed Mexican businessman, Senor Ortega. Look, we have read the word of the Lord, okay? We do not need to read it again. Now take your... He glances behind Ortega and sees a sleek black limousine. Doors held open by a chauffeur. Ortega holds a clipping from a Mexican newspaper. It shows a photo of Val and Earl. He compares it to Val, then smiles, extending his hand. Earl joins them at the door. Senor McGee's. My name is Carlos Ortega. I work for the government of Mexico. I have urgent business to discuss with you and your partner, Senor Bassi. Exterior mobile home day. Later. Earl and Ortega sit on the old sofa and chairs in front of the mobile home. Val sits behind an old dust-covered desk. The Mesa Oil Company is developing a new oil field in the Sonoran Desert, but they are facing some very expensive delays. He hesitates. Val and Earl wait. They have encountered certain subterranean problems. Val and Earl exchange a glance. A number of oil workers, as well as local people, have been killed by large underground animals. Val and Earl are shocked. Graboids? Yes, that is the name you gave them. There's more of them? Yes, many lives are in danger, and we need someone, experts, to eliminate these creatures. You want somebody to go graboid hunting? Earl snorts derisively, gets up, and walks toward the trailer. Ortega is concerned. Please, of course, we are willing to pay. Earl, of course they're willing to pay! Earl keeps right on going into the trailer and slams the door. Val turns to Ortega. Don't worry about him. Call of nature. So, just how much are you willing to pay? Well, I have been authorized to offer you 50 apiece. 50? Have you seen these things? Forget it. We are insulted. We're walking. Val heads for the trailer. You do understand I mean 50,000. Val freezes in his tracks. Stunned. He turns around slowly, trying his best to cover his misunderstanding and sound businesslike. Of course, I understand. Now, for a price like that, you would not expect us to come up with any sort of equipment or anything. Oh, no, of course not. The Army will provide you with everything you request. But, let me conference with my associate, Mr. Bassett. Be right back. Interior mobile home day. I'm fucking loving this. This is so much fun. And yeah, I agree, guys. This is sick. Val bursts in, breathless, sputtering. Earl! I got him up to 50,000 apiece. I am not lying. Earl just glares at him. You must be nuts. Are you having a bad day or what? This is a gift from God. We can finally dump those overweight parakeets. I thought you said we were sitting on a gold mine. That was before we had a chance to get out of here. We were just dumb lucky. Those things didn't need us the first time. That kind of luck, you don't push. The Mexican army's gonna give us anything we want. We can get real dynamite. Those worms will be dog food. Come on, Earl. This is our big chance. That was our big chance. Okay, it's our second big chance. You only get one second chance in life, Earl. Val eyes his buddy. Earl is adamant. Let me say it slowly. No. Interior, mobile home, day. Later. Val is packing, marching around the room, scooping up scattered clothes, jeans tossed over the sofa, a boot here, boot there, and scuffing them into a duffel bag. Earl watches in disbelief. Finally, he can take it no more. He opens a cabinet, pulls out his own dilapidated suitcase. Val eyes him hopefully. Earl starts gathering his own things as he grumbles. Without me, you're just 160 pounds of worm food. Val grins. Exterior, Chihuahua Airfield, Mexico, day. A chartered plane lands at this dusty remote airfield. Val and Earl climb out of the little plane. Earl suspiciously scans the desolate surroundings. He's not happy. You're not going to be like this the whole trip, are you? I said come. I didn't say I'd smile. As they head for the tiny terminal building, Senor Ortega rushes to meet them. Welcome to Chihuahua. Pan with them as he leads them over to an old Jeep pickup. Except for the camouflage paint job, it's the exact same truck they've got at home. It's loaded with equipment in a large crate labeled Explosivos. The army has sent everything you requested. Will this do? Perfect. Good. I also have some good news. Graboid's all croaked and we can go home. Val jabs Earl. Ortega laughs good-naturedly. No, we are prepared to offer you double the price if you are able to capture one of the animals alive. Double? Alive? Have you ever seen one of these things, mister? What the hell makes you think alive? Yeah, it's a possibility. I mean, we have talked about it. Come on, Earl, let's go get our luggage. He steers Earl away during alive. Right, maybe I'll just get myself a butterfly in there. Hell, why don't we just catch him with our bare hands? Get a grip, Earl. Visualize money. I just want you to know I am here under protest. I got that by now. Why don't you just go home? I'll call you when I'm rich. But Val notices Earl isn't listening. He's staring off at something else. Val follows his gaze and sees Angle, a woman. Attractive, of course. She's waving cheerily as she strides towards them through the shimmering heat. This is Kathy White, mid-40s, an outdoor kind of woman wearing simple jeans and a t-shirt. As she joins them, Ortega comes over to introduce her. This is Kathy White. She is the geologist for the oil company. And these are the men who... I know. The monster hunters. I saw you guys on Good Morning America. Kathy is warm, genuine. She shakes Val's hand. He nods. Valentine McKee. Val glances at Earl, who's still staring at Kathy. They wait for him to say something. Finally, Val pipes up. Earl Bassett, my partner. Earl Bassett, this is Valentine McKee, my partner. Val rolls his eyes. I came to take you out to the oil field. Figured I'd ride out with you if it's no bother. Val glances at Earl. No argument there. Exterior, desert, highway. The Jeep pickup zooms along a paved desert highway. Interior pickup, moving day. Val drives. Kathy sits between him and Earl. As they talk, Earl subtly adjusts the side view mirror so he can see Kathy. I was only supposed to be down here 6 weeks, but we ran into your Graboid things. Had to shut down the whole operation. Only 4 of us left out here. Have the Graboids come near the refinery yet? No. So far, they left us alone. They mostly stayed about 20 miles north, up in the oil field. Who came up with the name Graboids, anyway? Friend of ours named them. Heh. Then they ate him. Oh. Just then, Kathy glances at the mirror, catching Earl's interested gaze. He quickly readjusts the mirror. Exterior oil refinery, established day. The van rattles along toward an oil refinery still under construction. It looks like a lonely outpost on Mars. A cluster of mobile homes, warehouses, and big oil storage tanks surround the central distillation plant. Building supplies and equipment are interspersed with a maze of partially completed pipelines, valves, catwalks, and smokestacks. Exterior, Kathy's lab, warehouse day. We're outside a large warehouse. Kathy's lab is a room built onto one end of it. A big flatbed truck is parked outside the lab. 2 oil company men, Pedro and Leroy, work together in the cab, installing a radio seismo receiver under the dashboard. The receiver has a readout screen, somewhat like a radar screen. Pedro and Leroy wave as the Jeep pickup drives by. Val, Kathy, and Earl climb out and walk over to the flatbed truck. Hey, Kathy! Hey, Leroy. They're all set up. Systems fully operational. Great. Hey guys, this is Leroy and Pedro. They've been setting up the seismographs we talked about. This is Val and Earl. Sí, buenos días, señores. I've seen you all in the magazines. Man, what a deal. You guys must have made a mint, huh? I mean, that video game alone. Whoo! The two tycoons exchange a pained glance. Exterior, Kathy's lab, night. Wide. In the jet black desert night, lights shine from within the lab. Interior, Kathy's lab, night. It's a good-sized room filled with research equipment, microscoped core samples, glass soil sample vials, etc. A pot of coffee bubbles over a Bunsen burner. Interior windows look out into the dark, cavernous warehouse beyond the lab. Earl rolls up some topo maps. Kathy studies a seismograph, printout unrolled on a table. Giant worms aren't exactly my specialty, but it looks like there are 4 of them. Maybe 5? You'll know better when you get out where we have more seismographs working. Earl seems slightly distracted, looking around the room. You got a ladder. What? You want to be ready to get up on your roof real quick, in case they show up. You should get a ladder, lean it up outside. Then he gestures to a glowing seismo receiver on her desk, like the one in Pedro's truck. You sure you can trust this thing? Oh, sure. It's tied to all the seismographs Leroy set up. Anything moves out there, you'll see it here. Well, you keep an eye on it while we're gone. Kathy smiles. She appreciates his concern. Hey, don't worry, and you be sure you bring those maps back. I intend to. Looking at each other's ass. That's the next part. The pickup has been pulled into the huge warehouse that adjoins Kathy's lab. A couple of work lights hang on the truck. Pedro has the hood up and is carefully going over the engine. Val and Leroy fit a radio seismo receiver into the cap during. Your average ostrich lays up to 50 eggs a year. Now, compare that to your cow that gives birth to maybe 1-2 calves. Everybody knows ostrich meat is the cuisine trend of the 90s. Yeah, well, I'll think about it. Get in on the ground floor. Hey, how come you guys are not outgoing alone? You don't want the whole army to help you? No, see, we gotta do it alone. Graboids, they help us out. You make a noise, even a footstep, they come after you. You get a bunch of soldiers spread all over, making a racket, they're just gonna get eaten. Val splices caps onto the electrical wires. Okay, it's hot. Leroy switches the unit on. Its screen goes to life. You're set. So, if your truck's the only thing out there making noise, they're gonna come straight to you. Right on. And once we bring them in close, good boom. Exterior, desert, sunrise. The enormous flame-red sun rises. It's the start of a fateful day. Exterior, refinery, Kathy's lab, day. Montage. We're gonna do a montage. Montage. Shots of the final preparations for war. Val locks a military rifle into an upright rack in the truck. Val checks blasting caps in the crate marked Explosivos. Val checks a remote detonator switch. A red light flashes next to the word fire. Earl shaves. His shirt is clean. His hair is combed. The man is looking slicker than we have ever seen. Angle the pickup truck. As Val and Earl slam doors, Val revs it up. Kathy, Leroy, and Pedro wave farewell as the truck heads for the open desert. Exterior, desert, dirt road, day. Tilt down from a brilliant blue sky to find the monster hunting truck grinding and lurching along a rough dirt road. Interior pickup truck, moving day. Start close on the seismo receiver screen. A green blip, 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 moves slowly along the screen. Widen to see the guys. Val merrily taps out a rhythm on the steering wheel. Earl cradles the rifle, his eyes glued to the screen. Okay, so that is us. That is our truck. Seems like it's working okay. Oh, hold on. I actually messed up characters. Hold on. I gotta redo that. Okay, so, that's us. That's our truck. Seems like it's working okay. Sure it is, Earl. It's a high-tech professional operation we got here. We got a good plan going. 50,000 apiece. You know, I'm gonna get it all in ones. Just stacked. We make any money, we invest it wisely. Val holds up his right hand, silently promising. They drive on for a moment. Hey, you shaved. What? I just noticed. You shaved. So what? Man can shave, can't he? Val just smiles and keeps on driving. You're right. She's babe. Exterior dirt road, staging area, day. The truck rolls through a company's supply and staging area. Massive portable well drilling equipment dwarfs a few little buildings, some still under construction, and a half dozen company vehicles. Only supposed to be one guy. Oh, gee, I keep messing. Only supposed to be one guy here. Security guard. Indeed, a lone security guard leans out of a little office and waves to them as they pass. As they drive by, Val waves back to the guard and puts a finger to his lips, indicating, be quiet. The guard nods. Exterior desert jeep trail, day. The truck, an insignificant speck, continues through the vast country, now bouncing along a rough jeep trail. Interior pickup truck, moving, day. Earl gazes out at the passing desert. Not a lot of rocks and boulders out here. Not much to climb on if we don't feel like getting slurped. God, will you lighten up? You're as nervous as a chihuahua. Earl goes back to staring out at the desert. I'm not nervous. I'm alert. Angle. Earl's POV. A plume of dust rises from behind a low hill, and it's moving, angling toward them. A low rumble gets louder and louder. Back to scene. Shit! Val sees the dust. This is it! Dynamite time! Earl skids the truck to a stop. Earl raises his rifle. Val starts to climb into the truck bed, but then they see exterior Jeep Trail, day. It's a beat-up old Harley Davidson roaring toward them. The driver slides his hog to a wild stop right in front of them. Val and Earl lean out as the dust settles. What the hell am I looking at? He's looking at Hank, the wild man Willoughby, a wild-eyed, unshaven guy in a cowboy hat, t-shirt, and well-worn chaps, a gringo expatriate desert rat, and all-around individualist. His portable radio blares a Tex-Mex song. Christ, this idiot's making enough noise to call a whole herd of graboids. Val and Earl each pull out Spanish-English phrase books, mumbling various phrases. As they attempt to communicate, Hola! Disculpa, tiene, usted problema? Yeah, problema! Problema? Yeah, I'd say I got a problema. You. This used to be an open country down here. A place where a man, such as myself, could roam free. Do some hunting, do some trapping, live off the land. You know, can't do that in the States no more. Then you oil company types start cutting roads, blasting, scaring off all the coyotes, peccaries, and pumas. Well, try as you might. You're not getting rid of Hank, the wild man Willoughby. Turn off your radio, wild man. I like music. Turn off your goddamn radio. Hank's a little startled at Earl's ferocity. He turns the radio volume down. Testy. Listen, Hank, haven't they told you what's going on out here. Oh, the tremors. Oh, the tremors. Big bad worms. Oh, they're going to eat me? Yeah, like I fell for that. Oh, man, they'd say anything to get old wild man out of here. Do I look that stupid? Val and Earl don't comment. Well, now I got some advice for you. You keep your lousy trucks out of my area. Look, cowboy, you're going to get eaten if you stay out here. I have been down here 6 years, and never not once has anything ever got me. No rattler, no scorpion, no tarantula. These mothers are as big as whales, man, bad whales. Yeah. You just stay out of my territory. Do yourself a favor. Keep the wild man happy. He roars off. They stare after him, then climb back into the truck during. I give the wild man half a day. Helios. Definite worm food. Val starts the truck. They drive off. Exterior Jeep Trail Hilltop. Day. The pickup pulls into frame, overlooking a spectacular view of a vast desert valley. Earl consults a topo map. Well, it's where they're supposed to be. Val, still the optimist, leaps out and rushes to the rear of the pickup. He lifts out a massive towing chain with a big hook on one end. The other end is already attached to the truck's trailer hitch. Val has tied empty cans to the chain. He tosses it clattering on the ground. Earl looks back, confused. Val explains. Make more noise! He bounds back into the truck, and he and Earl head down into the valley. I know that my Val's a little too southern, but I'm so into his journey as a person, I'm leaving it. Interior pickup truck moving day. Val drives like a happy maniac, bouncing the truck over bumps and through gulches. Earl doesn't look too happy. Yeehaw! Man, those worms are gonna have to be deaf if they don't hear us! Wham! Over another big bump. Earl looks nauseous. Jesus, take it easy! Just then, Earl notices. Insert seismo screen. Boop, boop. A new blip appears. Boop, coming in at an angle. Boop, boop, heading toward the fast-moving blip that represents their speeding truck. Back to scene. Jesus! We got one, Val! It spotted us. It headed right for us. Easy. That is the idea. I know it's the idea. That doesn't mean I have to like it. Stop already, will you? I am. Val skids the pickup to a stop. They look out at the seemingly lifeless, harmless desert. Val is pumped up. Earl would rather be at the dentist. Val springs into the pickup bed and flips open the explosivos box. He nervously lifts out dynamite and a remote-controlled detonator. Okay, time for the secret weapon. Be careful with that detonator. Set it like that guy showed us. How dumb do you think I am? Catch you later on that one. Exterior, sand dune, day. We hear a whining engine. Then over the top of the dune rolls a black 4x4 monster truck. In the next instant, we realize it's a remote-controlled toy. As it passes, we see the dynamite, now riding in its miniature bed, detonator attached and blinking. The little truck whirs out a few yards, does a quick 180, and speeds back up over the dune. Exterior, desert, pickup truck, day. Val and Earl sit in lawn chairs in the bed of their truck. Val mans the toy's remote control. Earl clutches his rifle and monitors the seismo receiver by occasionally glancing through the pickup's rear window. He's coming in. I think he's following it. Of course he is. Earl whips around and pulls up binoculars, watching the distant toy truck. You're behind a bush. Keep it where I can see it. Okay. Angle, toy truck. Ground level camera races across the desert after the toy truck. It meanders, spins, bounces, heads off in a new direction. Now, with a rumbling sound, the earth bulges up underneath it. The horrid beak of a graboid bursts out, gulping the toy truck down whole, like a fish eating a lure. Angle, Val, and Earl. Earl stands up straight excitedly. Got it! Did it! He took it! Get him! Get him! Get him! Do it! Val is wildly pressing a button, then realizes he's still holding the toy truck's remote control. He drops it, snatches up the remote detonator switch, and hits it. Kaboom! The unseen monster is blown sky high. Gory monster parts sail up into the air. Angle pickup truck day. Just as they're about to get deluged, Val and Earl pop open umbrellas as they sit calmly as the mess of orange intestines, rocks, and dirt showers down around them. Close-up seismo screen as an extra big blip swells, then flickers and fades away. Angle, Val, and Earl, as they stare at each other, a big grin spreads across Val's face. It worked! It worked! Ah! He grabs Earl in a big hug. Earl pushes him away. All right. Don't get cocky, kid. Exterior, desert, night. Val and Earl's pickup is parked way up on a smooth rock. The guys are bedded down for the night, but all we see are their stocking feet sticking out onto the tailgate from under their blankets. The stillness is broken by the distant plaintive howling of a coyote. And we hear, "Better be quiet, man." The howling continues, then suddenly changes to yelping. A desperate screech, and then silence. Should have listened. Exterior, dry gulch, night. We hear a raucous Tex-Mex song as we tilt down to Hank's radio on the ground, blaring away. We pan over to Hank, sprawled out on his bedroll, snoozing away. He doesn't awaken. When the ground begins to rumble, we hear the radio suddenly become muffled and then fade away. When we pan back to the radio, it isn't there anymore. Only a dusty, churned up patch of dirt. Exterior, desert, day. It's morning. We hear a siren wailing, and a remote-controlled toy fire truck zooms through frame. Then we hear the short gulp of a Graboid snatching it down. Angle, Val, and Earl in their truck bed, very cool now, sitting under their umbrellas. Earl holds the detonator switch and is about to fire. Val reaches for it. Hey, my turn. No way. I'm enjoying this. They do a swift round of scissors, rock, paper. Earl loses. Val eagerly grabs the detonator and hits the switch with relish. Home! We hear the off-screen explosion. The guys completely ignore the debris that rains down. Oh, yeah. Earl starts calmly tabulating on a pocket calculator. Meanwhile, Val leaps out of the truck and starts a little happy dance in the dust during... That's 200,000! Oh, man. I'm getting lightheaded, Earl. Get back in the truck. Even at 5%, we'll be doing pretty good. Val keeps dancing, kicking the cans on the chain they've been dragging. What are we going to do with all this money? We invest it. Of course we invest it. How do we invest it? That's what I'm thinking about. Mutual funds. Small, Earl. You're thinking small. See, I'm thinking big. I'm thinking theme park. Okay? Now listen. Val and Earl's world of natural wonders. Or, maybe something simple like Val and Earl's Monster Land. Or, Monster World. Oh, Worm World. How about Looney World? Seems to fit. Get off the ground. Vision, Earl. Vision is what separates the average from the... But Val stops as we hear music. A Tex-Mex song. Faint and distant, but coming closer, don't you want to be? Val and Earl look around and what do they see? Yeah, there's nothing but empty desert in front of me. But the music is getting closer, what you gonna do? Earl glances reflectively at the Seismo monitor. Earl's POV, Seismo receiver, a big green blip is heading their way. Back to scene, Earl whirls around. Val, get off the ground, get off the ground. Val is already starting to leap for the truck when the ground beneath him explodes. He tumbles to one side, just missed by the snapping, drooling jaws of another Graboid. Val rolls to his feet, springs up into the truck bed as Earl swings down into the truck cab and grabs his rifle. But the creature is already submerged. Val is shaking, furious. He burrows in their equipment and pulls out another bomb. This one taped to a toy remote-controlled dune buggy. Son of a bitch! Trying to eat my ass? Quiet, quiet! Val quiets down and keeps readying the bomb. All we can hear is the music. They both react as they hear an odd creaking sound. They look and see the heavy tow chain the truck's been dragging is being pulled into the ground. Twang! The chain goes taut. The truck jolts and begins to roll backwards. Oh no. Val frantically reaches over the tailgate, trying to open the pintle hook, but is bound tight by the force of the chain pulling it. Earl slides into the driver's seat, starts the engine, and grinds the gears, forcing it into low, trying to pull forward in four-wheel drive. The wheels spin forward, churning the earth, but the truck still slides relentlessly backwards. We see the chain slicing the dirt as the mighty Graboid picks up speed. The radio music swells into a full orchestra score. One hell of a wild action theme. Val and Earl can only stare helplessly as the truck is hauled out into exterior open desert day. The truck roars backwards across the landscape. It crashes through bushes, slams over rocks, and thuds through ditches. The creature fears, whipping the truck around like a water skier, throwing up clouds of dirt. Val and Earl hang on for dear life. Earl glances at the seismo monitor. It shows two blips, one apparently chasing the other. Exterior boulder field day. The creature now drags the truck toward an area littered with big boulders. The Val crouches low in the bed, gripping the top of the tailgate like a frightened rider in a runaway roller coaster. Earl is twisted around in the driver's seat to see where they're going. It's not good. Angle, their POV, a big boulder lays dead ahead, getting closer fast. Back to scene. Oh boy, he's going under it. Val frantically grabs a rolled sleeping bag and jams it between him and the tailgate. Earl braces himself against the headrest and buckles a seatbelt. The truck smashes into the boulder, skidding halfway up it. The chain snaps, the loose end sucking down beneath the boulder. The music fades as the creature continues off into the desert. Lato sardito, samarado, carima, partida, farciato, bacana. Val, covered in dust, slowly rises, shaken. Earl, you okay? Earl piles out of the truck and runs up onto the rock, scanning the earth around him. Oh yeah, I'm fine. Val checks himself over. Seems to be okay. He smiles, regaining his composure, and tries to make light of it. Earl, that is going to be the first ride in our theme park. Earl just glares at him. Val lifts the bomb. Okay, take it easy. Okay, take it easy, will you? We'll make him pay. Earl steps past Val and looks in through the rear window at the seismo monitor. He goes pale. Sure we will. Look at that. Actually, doesn't anything ever get you down? Well, I am blessed with a sunny disposition. Most people seem to like it. Oh, yeah? What's this do for your fucking disposition? The little changes in scripts. I love them. Val peers in over his shoulder. Angle, their POV, the seismo monitor. A dozen blips are heading right for them. Exterior desert, the pickup screams across the landscape at warp speed. We need a plan. All right. Oh, you will get some help, okay? Help. Who in their right mind want to help us with this mess? Exterior, Bert and Heather's house. Like I said, podcast people, you got to see it for the video stuff. Bam, 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 bam. Close on the muzzle of an HK-91 assault rifle as it fires. Track along the barrel to find Heather Gummer. Reassessing her shots. Oh, hold on, I gotta get. It's always good to. We hear a phone ringing. She fires twice. Once or twice more. Then frowns as she realizes no one's answering it. She flips on her safety and exit frame. We don't see the house. Interior, Bert and Heather's basement. As the phone continues ringing, camera moves through this elaborate basement rec room bunker. We move past a whole wall hung with every modern rifle and handy gun imaginable, past an ammo reloading bench, past framed magazine covers, Gun Digest, Soldier of Fortune, Guns and Ammo, Sports Afield, American Taxidermist. That's a good one. Showing Bert and Heather posing with various weapons alongside dead graboids. We come to rest on Bert Gummer, survivalist extraordinaire. But strangely, he's slumped in a chair, unshaven, wearing a bathrobe, munching listlessly on a stalk of celery, staring at the cable TV, military series Brute Force. Oh. With the eyes of a man who's lost his direction in life. Heather bounds down the basement stairs and glances at her husband with a mix of sadness and frustration. As she heads for the still ringing phone. For Pete's sake, Bert, can't you even answer the phone? Heather grabs it. While she talks, camera trucks slowly around her, revealing hunting trophies mounted on the wall, deer heads, elk, moose. Hello. Hey, Val! Hey, how are you? It's been a long time. You know, we're hanging in there. At least I am. She speaks more softly so Bert doesn't hear. Well, to be honest, Val, Bert's kind of lost his get up and go. It all started when the Soviet Union fell to pieces. Living without the threat of global war, it's been kind of hard on me. Camera keeps trucking, finally revealing the ultimate trophy, the full-sized, mounted head of a graboid. Long tentacles arcing out into the room. Heather reacts excitedly to Val's next statement. What? No, you're pulling my leg. In Mexico? She turns to Bert, who's still lost in his blues. Bert, honey! He casts a bleary look at her. Graboids. He sits bolt upright, the old fire igniting in his eyes. Where? Like I said, podcast people, you gotta watch the video. It's the best. Exterior, refinery, wide, day. The buildings shimmer in the desert heat. Interior, Kathy's lab, day. It's tense, quiet. Pan across the tired faces of Pedro, Leroy, Val, and Earl. Faces lit by greenish light. Widen to see They are clustered around the seismo receiver, staring at it intently. Earl still clutches his rifle. Kathy is across the room, working at a lab table. Suddenly, oh my God! What? 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 Come here! Come here, look at this! Val and Earl step over. She's holding a cylindrical piece of rock, an oil well core sample. Protruding from the end of it is the fossilized spike from the body of a graboid. I have been staring at this thing for a month. I just realized what it is. She excitedly compares it to photos of graboids in a scientific journal. Hey, yeah, it looks like one of those spikes on their sides. Pedro peers over their shoulders. Yes, you don't see it does. I think it is. I really think it is a fossilized fragment of a graboid. Well, that's pretty important, isn't it? I mean, nobody's ever figured out where they came from. Yeah, that's my point, guys. This is Precambrian rock. Yeah. Precambrian. This makes them the oldest life form on the planet, predating every other living thing known. Older than dinosaurs? Way. Val grins at Earl smugly. Earl looks disappointed. So they're from Earth, huh? Damn it. He pulls out $20 and hands it to Val. What was that? We had a bet. I always figured they were from outer space. Oh. Sorry. Across the room, Leroy suddenly starts pointing at the seismo monitor, sputtering intelligently. A big green blip is moving quickly toward the center of the screen. In the next instance, we hear rumbling. Earl cocks his rifle. Leroy jumps up on a table. The rumbling continues, moving around the lab. We pan across shelves, core samples shaking and rattling instruments until we see out a window where a huge army truck pulls up to a stop. All we can see are massive tires, fender and hood. Exterior, Kathy's lab, day. Everyone rushes out the door to see a huge 6-wheel drive military cargo truck, a deuce and a half. The doors open. Burt and Heather, in military camouflage and mirrored sunglasses, simultaneously step out and flip off their sunglasses. Hey guys! Is this Monster HQ? Hey, how you doing? This is Kathy, Pedro, Leroy. Everybody, Bert and Heather. I kind of figured. Hey, Bert, you think you got a big enough truck? Leroy and Pedro obviously don't recognize them. So, you were with Val and Earl the first time? Well, yeah, sure, every step of the way. Leroy shrugs. Honey, we never heard anything about you. Bert is surprised and a little insulted. Meanwhile, Val and Earl are headed for the back of the truck. What the hell you got in here anyway? As Leroy and the others follow them, Bert and Heather hang back. Never heard of us. Val and Earl went on TV. You wouldn't go on TV. Bert shakes his head, frustrated. They follow the others around to the tailgate. Val swings the rear canvas flaps aside. Everyone peers into the bed of the truck, where they see a huge mound of explosives, crates, mortar shells, cans. Jesus. Well, Bert, Yep, makes my homemade stuff look like cherry bombs. Thermite, C4, TNT, high explosive, HE. Is there such a thing as low explosive? Yes, son, there is. I mean, the Federales offer you anything you want, and you guys take one case of dynamite. Earl points out a 3-foot-long, 90-millimeter cannon shell. What the hell are you going to do with this? Might end up in my collection. Now, what about communication? Don't suppose you thought about that. We're all linked up by radio telephone. The repeater tower is on a hilltop. On solid rock, it's on a generator with double battery backup. Yeah. So there. Heather hops onto the gate. Got some present for you, cowboys. She hands down 2 gleaming aluminum rifle cases. Val and Earl open them, revealing 2 big-bore classic double-barrel rifles with boxes of ammo. Your backup weapons. Shotguns? We ain't hunting rabbits. Not shotguns. Double rifles. Elephant guns. 460 Weatherby, 510 Rigby. Knock down, power up the yin-yang. Treat them well. Val stares a little nervously at one of his gigantic cartridges. But hold them good and tight to your collarbone, or hold them good and tight to your shoulder. It'll break your collarbone. Val and Earl glance at each other. Ouch. Burt now pulls out his gun. A huge, cartoon-sized bolt-action rifle. Val and Earl laugh out loud. What the hell is that? World War I anti-tank gun. Single shot, routing 50 caliber. Had the bullets custom cast from solid bronze. Anti-tank. You know, Bert, you put a whole new shine on the word overkill. When you need it and don't have it, you sing a different tune. Exterior, hilltop, repeater tower, day. High angle, looking down on a jeep trail. The pickup and the lumbering cargo truck grind their way along. Pan with the trucks to reveal the radio telephone repeater station in foreground, on a rocky hilltop. Several antennae bristle from a small, windowless shed. Ooh, I just spilt my coffee everywhere. Awesome. One second. All over my books. You never plan ahead for everything. Mice and men, right, Earl? Booyah. All right. High angle looking down on a jeep trail. The pickup and the lumbering cargo truck grind their way along. Pan with the trucks to reveal foreground on a rocky hilltop. Several antennae bristle from a small windowless shed. Exterior, jeep trail, hilltop, day. It's the same valley overlook we saw earlier. The 2 trucks pull into the frame and stop side by side. Val loudly munches handfuls of tortilla chips stirring. This is it. You take the east, we'll take the west. Bert. You know those are terrible for you. Should eat something more nutritious. We already gave up smoking. What more do you want? Bert pulls a big silver foil wrapped food bar out of his pocket. Freeze-dried, foil-sealed. It's got to be foiled. Plastic is not an oxygen barrier. Nutrient-rich, vitamin and pH balanced. 1,200 calories a bar. And you can eat it all in 30 seconds. Take some. He tosses a few bars across into the pickup cab. Oh, no, we wouldn't want to use up your food. No problem. Bert brought 120 pounds of it. Good luck, boss. The trucks separate and head off down into the valley. After a moment, oh, man, this stuff tastes like shit. That's because it is shit, Val. That's because it is shit. It's not in there, but that's because it is shit. MREs are disgusting. Exterior, dry lake bed, day. Camera is low and wide as we see Bert and Heather's truck way in the distance, sitting quietly in the midst of a vast, dry lake bed. Suddenly, clanking across frame in foreground comes a remote-controlled toy tank. As it exits frame, we hear the rumble and snort of a Graboid, cut close on Heather, peering through oversized military binoculars. He took it! Right. Bert drops his toy remote control and raises a remote detonator. Helmets! In unison, they slap on army helmets. Okay, mister. And he hits the switch. Go boom! It's actually in the script. There's more kabooms than a normal one. It's a huge fucking blast! Much bigger than we've seen up to now. There's extra O's for the kaboom. I love that. Burt and Heather are knocked on their tails. The truck rocks with the shockwave, and then a torrent of debris splatters down on them. Heather rises slowly, shaken. Now what was that? 4 pounds of C4. 4 pounds? Man, alive, Bert. I mean, I love C4 as much as the next gal, but you really go overboard sometimes. Bert smiles slyly. Interior, exterior. Val and Earl's truck, moving day. Earl drives while Val monitors the seismo receiver. Their radio crackles. Yo, Val and Earl, we got one. Yeah, Bert, we heard it clear over here. Damnedest thing, too. It had a big chain with a big hook in its mouth. Val grabs the radio mic from Earl. Bert, you skunk! That one was ours! Oh, yeah? I didn't see your name on it. Over and out. Bert clicks off. Who invited him? Hey, pay attention. Boop, boop, boop. Whoops, got one. 3 o'clock. Wait. No, it's moving away from us. Yeah, it must be something else. Yeah, wild man. We ought to shoot him. Val scans the horizon. He suddenly points off. Hell it is! Look at that! Angle, their POV desert. A plume of dust shoots up from the ground, then another, marking the path of a graboid moving away from them. Back to scene. The boys are baffled. It's running away from us? Exterior desert later. Wide as Val and Earl's truck bounces across open desert, passing among a few large boulders. Interior, exterior, Val and Earl's truck moving day. They are still pursuing the wayward graboid. What's his problem? We're making plenty of noise. He reaches over and leans on the horn. Beep, 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 beep. Earl is paying more attention to the seismo receiver than his driving. They slam roughly over a rock. I'm watching the monitor. You drive. I don't like it, Val. You're getting smarter. You know, that's what they do. You know that. He stopped. He just stopped there. Val eyes the monitor, then points off to the side. He was close. That way. He's got to be right over there someplace. Keep going. Exterior, big boulder, day. The pickup. Inches up a gentle grade toward a big boulder. Not a sign of life anywhere. Then Earl suddenly stops the truck. What? Listen, Val. They got something going here. I tell you, some kind of plan. They get a trap for us or playing possum. Val's nervous too, but not willing to give up. He lifts a toy dune buggy with a detonator and wad of C4 taped to it. We'll see who's got a plan. He opens his door, sets the car on the ground, and sends it off, its little electric motor whining shrilly in the dead stillness. Earl is not happy. Behind him, out the driver's side window, we see part of a big rock a few feet away. The rock shudders. Earl glances over. His eyes go wide with horror. The rock is a fucking graboid! Lying on the surface like a beached whale, mother humpers! It rears its head, its jaws drop open. Shit! Earl recoils straight backward, colliding with Val in the passenger seat and sending them both sprawling out the other side of the cab as they land in a heap. It's there! It's there! It's there! It's there! Val sees it. Shit! They scramble around the truck and up onto the only safe spot, the big boulder right next to the creature itself. But the thing does not react to them. They stare down at it. It just lies there, breathing heavily, only able to feebly lift its huge head. Something wrong with it. Behind them, their truck slowly, quietly rolls away down the slope. They are so intent, they don't notice. Must be sick. What do you think? How the hell would I know? The guys creep along the boulder closer to the creature, totally focused on it. Probably ate somebody that didn't agree with it. They don't even notice a distant crunch as their truck crashes off screen somewhere. Val leaps off the boulder, runs over, and tags the creature and leaps back to safety. Jesus, Val! But the creature doesn't seem to notice. Earl, this is a live one. We caught ourselves a live one. Val starts happily dancing around. 100,000 big ones, Earl! Don't count your chickens. What if it decides to go back into the ground? Val frowns. Good point. Then he brightens again. Okay, well, let's just tie the sucker up. They turn to look where their truck should be, then freeze. It is gone. Gotta wipe a little coffee off the books, just so they don't. Yeah, we're good. We're still good. Booyah. Exterior gully day. Val and Earl race along, avoiding bare ground, hopping from rock to rock down the slope. Pan with them as they slow down, and we reveal their truck sitting ass end down in a narrow gully, perfectly perpendicular. Front wheels aimed skyward, totally undrivable. Oh man, how could I do that? It's okay, just a minor setback. Val forces open a door, leans into the skewed cab, and grabs the radio mic. The radio crackles to life. Hello, hello, this is Val to anybody there? Hey, Val, this is Kathy. How you guys doing? Val flashes a grin to Earl, who relaxes a little. Cut to exterior big boulder beach Graboid later. The creature looks like Gulliver captured by the Lilliputians. Its beak is tied shut, ropes and chains crisscross all over it. Val finishes tying it off, anchoring it to some boulders. He pulls a kerchief over his nose. Oh, God, they stink. Angle, Earl, on top of a boulder down by the upended pickup truck. He shouts to Val, Val, get off the damn ground. All right. I talked to Pedro. He's going to bring out the big flatbed he was driving, the one with the winch on it. Great. We'll winch old Stinky on board and cart him home. We are going to make money hand over goddamn fist, Earl. Yeah. Get up on the rock. Exterior gully night. Beneath a vast starry sky, Val and Earl lie on sleeping bags on the big rock near their truck. Earl keeps an eye on the signal monitor through the propped open door of the truck cab. They both jump as they hear the distant echoing boom of an explosion. Damn it, not another one. There's plenty to go around. Suddenly, two more explosions. Boom! Boom! Val and Earl look at each other. What does that mean? The truck radio crackles. Hey guys, Burt and Heather here. Just doing a little night fishing. Got 3 of them on a cluster charge. I'd say we're about even now. We hear Heather off mic. Come on, Bart. It's not a competition. Who's competing? Val leaps over to the truck and grabs the radio mic. Yeah? Well, I'll tell you something, Bart. We just caught ourselves a live one. How about that? A live one? How in the... Trade secret. Happy hunting, Bart. Val clicks off and saunters back up onto the rock. I'll bet that burned his skinny ass. But now a ghostly moan wails up from nearby. They instinctively move to the highest point on their rock. It's coming from up there. Must be Stinky. The horrid moaning continues. Nerve-grating shrieks of a demon in pain. God almighty. Something's wrong with it. Good. Maybe it'll die. Val grabs flashlights from the truck, double checks the Seismo receiver. It's quiet. What if coyotes have got to it or something? Well, they'll have plenty to eat. Come on, Earl. It's an investment. We got to take care of it if we can. Jesus, listen to that. Don't you feel a little bit sorry for it? No. Exterior. Big boulder, night. A wind has come up. Dust blows through the night air as Val and Earl move cautiously from rock to rock, flashlights casting eerie shadows. The moaning has stopped. They reach the boulder that overlooks their hog-tied prize and cast their lights down. They gape. What the hell happened? Follow them as they jump to the ground and approach the creature. It's dead. But what's weird is that the Graboid's body is split, neatly open down its back. Most of its insides are gone, giving it the look of an empty cocoon. Monster gore is splattered everywhere. Val and Earl stare, struggling to explain it. Earl's mood getting darker and darker as he studies the grisly remains. Something ate it. In 5 minutes? Did you hear anything? Well, what the hell else? It's goddamn empty. There's nothing left inside. They stare at it some more, pondering. Finally, something came out of it. What do you mean came out of it? You know, it did that thing that things do, you know, when they change. There's a word for it. It turned into something else, like a caterpillar does. Only I bet whatever came out was no sweet little butterfly. I fucking love Fred Ward's delivery of that line. Only I bet whatever came out wasn't no sweet little butterfly. They both start backing away from the dead creature, looking around apprehensively. Exterior, gully, night. Earl leans into the cab, talking on the radio mic. I'm saying I think you all better head out for the city. Get out until we know what's going on. Over. He releases the talk button. Nothing but static crackles from the screen radio. Kathy, did you get any of that? Over. Earl tries other bands. Nothing. Shit. Now what? Radio's out. How can that be? I was just talking to her. Val sits on the rock holding his elephant gun. For the first time, genuinely worried. He stares off into the night. Suddenly he sees, hey there, Pedro! About damn time, thank God. Val and Earl's POV, headlights in distance. As Pedro's flatbed truck comes over a rise about a mile off, the lights jostle along in the darkness. Then a stop. Back to scene. He stopped. Maybe he's taking a leak? They keep staring. Long leak. Hey, Pedro! Earl's voice echoes across the landscape and fades. But there's no answer. Val and Earl look at each other. Maybe we better go over there and see what's wrong. Go over? You mean walk a mile across open country? Earl gestures to their damaged truck, the seismograph receiver glowing softly inside. I'm not going 6 feet from that seismo. Earl, something's wrong. There's no Graboid anywhere near us right now. I say we go while the going's good. Earl stares at him, considering the logic. Cut to exterior desert night. start close on Val and Earl's boots as they trudge across the sands, widen to see Val struggling under the weight of both elephant guns, ammo belts, toy cars, explosive canteens, and the truck's battery. It is connected with jumper cables to the seismo receiver, which Earl lugs with difficulty, eyes glued to its screen. The men march in strained silence until, you could help carry some of this stuff. I got what I want. They are nearing Pedro's truck. They squint into the glare of the headlights as they draw closer and call out, Pedro? Hey, Pedro! No response. Earl keeps compulsively glancing at his seismo receiver. Man, this brings back memories. Hang on. Maybe he's got engine trouble, or he's just, out cranking a weasel. But as they draw nearer, moving out of the glare of the headlights, they can see something is very wrong. All the truck's windows are smashed, but even more disturbing, the sheet metal is literally torn, almost shredded like tinfoil. The hood has been peeled back in twisted metal strips, opened like a banana, laying the engine bare. The engine, too, is a savage wreck. Wires and hoses hanging in tatters. Val and Earl stare open-mouthed. Jesus, looks like somebody took a can opener to the thing. Val looks around frantically, sweeping the area with the flashlight. Pedro! Damn it, where are ye? He spots something up on the cab roof. It's someone's fingers tightly gripped on the top edge of the slope streamlining cowl. Someone in the truck bed is clutching it from behind. Here he is! Val rushes around to shine his light up at the rear of the cab and sees it's just Pedro's severed arms hanging from the cowl. Val recoils from the truck. Oh God. Oh, man. It's a whole new ball game. It's a whole new goddamn ball game. I mean, it was all going so good. Earl peers into the truck cab. The radio's a wreck. Val forces himself to think. Okay. Let's hike up to the radio tower. There's gotta be a radio there. It's gotta be working. We can call direct. Earl nods. They continue down the road together, still linked by the jumper cables. Earl, we can ditch that thing. Earl keeps trudging. Like hell. It hasn't picked up a Graboid all night. Whatever got Pedro sure didn't show up on it. Earl stops and thinks about it. Finally, he lets the seismo receiver drop. Val drops the battery and silently hands one of the elephant guns to Earl. Exterior, desert, Burt and Heather's truck, night. The big 2.5 grinds down the swirly dust. Floodlights blazing eerily in all directions. Burt and Heather glance out at a big Brahma bull who gazes back at them unperturbed. Interior, exterior, Burt and Heather's truck, moving night. Burt drives as Heather hangs up the radio, frowning. Burt, I still can't raise anybody. Something's wrong. We'd better head back. Burt turns the truck around to head back where they came from. Heather gazes at the seismo receiver. No activity. This whole thing's getting squirrely, Burt. This whole thing's getting squirrely, Burt. We tracked 6 of those big weenies up here, but we haven't had a single reading in hours. They head back down the road. Yeah, where the hell they go? You don't think they're wising up, staying away from the truck? Could be. They're smart sons of... My God! Angle, the Brahma bull, has been almost completely eaten. Nothing left of it but the bloody, unrecognizable head and a few bones. The ground is a bloody mess. Angle, Burt, and Heather, as they lean out of the cab, staring, sweeping the area with their mag lights, mystified and unnerved. We just passed him a minute ago! They ease back into the truck, reaching for their gun rack. Angle wide on the truck. It's an island of blazing light in the black desert landscape, strongly blacklit by its rear floodlights. Slowly, the muzzles of their rifles slide out either side window, casting long shadows in the blowing dust. Exterior, hilltop, repeater tower, night. Val and Earl come into view as they trudge up the steep hill. They shine their flashlights forward and stop in their tracks. Pull back slowly to reveal the repeater station is destroyed. The equipment shed at the base of the antenna tower has been literally torn to pieces. Shattered electronic equipment strewn everywhere. Val sags down on a rock, nearly overwhelmed. Don't we ever get a break? We get out alive, I'll count that as a break. Come on. I mean, why would anything attack this place? There wasn't even anybody to eat here. Come on. Come on, where? It is 20 miles to that refinery. Not the refinery. That place where the security guard is. Maybe we can catch a ride there. Maybe. Exterior, dirt road, night. Exhausted, Val and Earl march slowly along the moonlit road. They no longer need their flashlights. You know, I don't get it. How could something big enough to smash stuff up like that not be big enough to show up on the seismographs? Yeah, you know, the only thing I can figure is maybe it can fly. It can fly. God help us. The welcome sight of distant lights greets them. They pick up their pace. Exterior, dirt road, staging area, night. The place is dark except for lonely pools of light cast by the few small floodlights. Val and Earl bang on the door of the small field office. Hello? Anybody here? Silence. Val points to the several parked vehicles some distance away. The men hustle toward them. We'll hotwire them if we have to. Damn straight. As they move out of the light into a very dark stretch, Val suddenly falls. Earl whirls around, clicks the safety off the elephant gun. Jesus, you okay? Yeah, I just slipped. There's mud or oil or... Earl flicks on his flashlight. Val has slipped in a muddy pool of blood. Oh, shit! He leaps up, frantically wiping off his hands, pants, boots. Earl grabs him and hauls him along. Come on! Earl rushes to the nearest car and without hesitation smashes out the driver's side window. As he's unlocking the door, they begin to hear the footsteps. Thud. 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 With a hollow metallic sound, something is walking around them. They instinctively switch off their flashlights and shrink behind the car. Thud. Thud. Thud! Now they can tell where it's coming from. Behind a 2-story building. A long piece of corrugated sheet metal lays beside the building. The far end hidden from view. Whatever is coming their way is behind the building, walking along the sheet metal. The end, we can see, shakes violently with each footstep. In a moment, we will see it! Val and Earl shrink down further. Rifles ready. As each footstep clungs louder and louder, the men aim higher and higher in anticipation of seeing the thing. And at last, it steps into view. It is 3 foot tall, the size of a big dog. Val and Earl whip their gun muzzles down, aiming at the creature. They glance at each other in confusion. What the hell is that? The little animal is unaware of them, walking on big hind feet, rather like a mini Tyrannosaurus. The sound of its footsteps is amplified by the sheet metal. As it turns towards us, we cut close on the ugly beast. It is eyeless, like the big Graboids, and its mouth, though smaller, is like the same grotesque 4-part beak. The most bizarre difference, however, is a fleshy hood, which flares out around its head, reminiscent of a radar dish but vibrantly colored. Still unaware of Val and Earl, The creature quietly scans from side to side with its radar head. Val and Earl whisper softly. Is that it? It's gotta be. Look at the mouth. How can a 30-foot worm turn into that little thing? The creature stops scanning as it faces in their direction. Sure, I hear us. Indeed, the creature now stiffens, sensing something. It suddenly lets out an unearthly, ear-splitting wailing noise! The foot scream! Ah! And charges madly at them! Shit, it hurt us! The cowboys instantly cut loose. Boom, boom, with both barrels of their elephant guns. The murderous recoil throws the men back as gigantic muzzle flashes light up the compound and the deafening booms echo off the metal buildings. We lose sight of the charging creature in the cloud of dust kicked up by the bullets. Val and Earl frantically eject shells and reload, but as the dust clears, they see a creature sprawled flat, dead as a doornail. We got him. We got him. Then they both wince, their shoulders aching from the gun's recoil. Let's go get a look at it. Let's just go. Val drags Earl over to the fallen creature during. Earl, we found us a whole nother creature. We did it again. They look down at it. Val turns it over with a board. Ugly little toad. Yeah. No eyes. Just like the big ones. From out of the darkness, another food scream sounds. They whirl and aim toward the sound, but then there's another food scream. And another. A whole chorus. Jesus. Quiet. Freeze. They freeze, but now stampeding into a distant pool of light, a dozen of the ferocious things. They head straight for Val and Earl, galloping through the pools of light. The men whisper with rising panic. They're not stopping. But we're not making any noise. They're not stopping. Desperately, they fire the elephant guns again. Two creatures are hit, but it doesn't slow down the herd. Val and Earl make a run for it, heading for the small interior office staging area at night. Val and Earl burst in and slam the door, backing away from it, reloading. The creatures slam into the door. Wham! Thud! But it holds. We hear them scratching around and making weird, frustrated, guttural noises outside. The scratching moves along the walls. There are two small windows. Val and Earl shift their aim there, but nothing appears. We just hear scratching and scuffling and grunting. Val edges over and peers out. Instantly, the chorus of four screams goes up! He ducks down and whispers, It's like they saw me. Exterior staging area, office, night. The creatures gather hungrily under the window in the shadows, shoving each other for position. Interior, office, staging area, night. Val peeks out again, relaxing a little. We're in luck. They can't climb. We're in luck. Look around. Maybe there's a phone or a bazooka. Val and Earl quickly case their surroundings. Not much. It's just a little one-room field office. Suddenly, the scuffling outside dies down. Val and Earl tense. Any change is probably bad. Now a new sound, a sustained shriek, like a bomb whistling in for impact. Val and Earl peer out. Exterior office staging area, night. A single creature is charging pell-mell toward them. It screams, growing louder and more insane as it runs faster and faster until BAM! It hits the door head-on, full tilt, cracking the wood, and keels over dead. Its head crushed. Interior office staging area, night. Val and Earl back away from their windows, utterly dumbfounded. What? We hear a second creature start a kamikaze charge. Shriek! Pow! Flop. We hear it fall over, but the door has cracked a little more. Val and Earl peer out the windows, angle their POV out window. A couple of creatures have dragged the freshly killed ones aside and are greedily feeding on them. Back to scene. Holy shit. Oh, man. That's not right. We hear a third creature, Bonsai, scream! Val scrambles to the window and shoots. The blast takes out the entire window. Shit! Shit! Missed! We hear... and as he frantically breaks open and reloads the 2 shotgun. I get in here. We'll never stop with them. We'll never stop them all with these things. Blam! The door is going to give way any second. Earl grimly shoves the desk over in front of the door and stands back with his double rifle. Bonsai! Wham! The door splinters behind the desk, but as the wall beside the door is shaken, a small cabinet swings open. Inside, glinting in the dim light, a dozen set of keys hanging on hooks. Val points. Earl! And as he leaps onto the desk, grabbing all the keys, Earl looks behind him. We gotta get out of here. But there are no windows in back. There's only an air conditioner. They attack it. Kicking, pulling, shoving, hanging on it. It sags on its flimsy wall mounts. Backs against it, they shove together with adrenaline strength, forcing it right out of the wall. The creature's beaks rip through the remainder of the door. The desk starts to slide back. Val and Earl grab their guns and dive out the back way through the air-conditioned hole. Exterior, staging area, night. The men raced across the compound back toward the parked cars. From the darkness behind them, we hear the food scream! They've been spotted. Val is frantically reading the labels on all the keys. Yeah, for pickup? Don't see it. Jeep? Nope. Volvo wagon? Yeah, there. Sure enough, among the vehicles is an old Volvo station wagon. The duo piles into it as the food screams get closer. Val jams the key in the ignition. The creatures are almost on top of them. Please, we deserve this. The engine fires right up. Val punches it, fishtailing around, spewing rooster tails of dirt. The car zooms into the night, headlights suddenly blinking on and off as an afterthought. The creatures stand silently, stock still for a moment, then in unison, all give out with an angry, frustrated scream! Exterior, desert, dawn. The Volvo thunders across the desert, only occasionally touching the ground. Wow, awesome. Holy shit. Coffee spilling didn't even slow me down. What's up? I love the difference in that too. That's the kamikaze scream. I would love to see shriekers swarm. Exterior, Kathy's lab, day. Kathy zooms up in her company van, hops out, and hurries inside. Interior, Kathy's lab, day. Kathy rushes in, leans across her desk, and spins her Seismo receiver around so she can see it. The screen is quiet. Then something appears in the open window next to her. She jumps! But it's just Leroy. Sorry. Where you been, Kathy? Do you realize all the phones are up? Yeah, I just went out to the repeater tower. It's torn to shreds. What? Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Anything coming our way? No. It's like the creatures have completely disappeared off the screen. No? Have you heard from Pedro? No. Nobody's coming back? He shakes his head. Jesus. Leroy leans in and puts a comforting hand on her shoulder. Take it easy, Kathy. You stay by the Seismo. I'll go out right now and look for them. Meanwhile, let me give you one of my guns. No, Leroy, I don't like them. I don't know how to use them. I'll show you how. They're not that hard to learn. You're going to be here by yourself. It's better than nothing. She wavers, considering it. Let me put it this way. But Leroy suddenly fucking screams very loudly right in her face. He clutches her wildly, yanking her up against the wall. She struggles to his grip. Leroy, stop! What? But now out the window, she can see what. Angle Kathy's POV out the window. One of the little creatures has Leroy's leg in its horrid mouth, twisting, tearing, yanking like a shark. We hear the food scream. Tilt up to see more creatures dashing toward him. Back to scene. Leroy keeps screaming uncontrollably. Kathy pulls his arms, trying to help him climb in the window, but we hear several dull thuds as more creatures latch onto him unseen below the window outside. He's yanked bodily back out of Kathy's grasp. He desperately grips the windowsill, his body violently shuddering, wrenching, twisting as things fight for their snare. Blood splatters the window above him. His eyes roll back and he's pulled out of view. Kathy backs away from the window, listening in abject horror to the snarling and grunting of the animals finishing their feast. Fear takes over. She runs back through the lab and out the front door. Exterior Kathy's lab day. Kathy rushes out and heads for the van, but instantly freezes in her tracks. More creatures are all over it. They have torn up the hood and have just destroyed the engine. One of them turns to face her and screams. She whirls back into the building. Interior Kathy's lab day. She dashes in and slams the door. Thud, thud. We hear the creatures hit the door. Boom, boom. Without slowing down, Kathy heads into interior Kathy's lab warehouse day. Kathy sprints into the darkened warehouse area that adjoins her lab. She grabs a crowbar as a weapon, then runs frantically toward big open doors on the other side of the building. Exterior desert day. The Volvo races across the desert. The Volvo roars in and stops. Val and Earl pile out with their double rifles. I mean, you can't trust anything these days. You're chasing worms. Next thing you know, piranhas with legs. All right. Let's just find everybody. Get the hell out of here. Earl veers off into the lab building. We hear him inside. Kathy, it's us. Are you here? Val searches the outside, walking around the end of the building, where he recoils as he sees the blood-stained ground outside the window. The tatters of Leroy's clothes are barely recognizable. Earl runs back to Val. No sign of her. Let's look over that. He freezes as he sees the mess. It's not her, Earl. It's Leroy. It's not her. Come on. We'll find her. They start searching. Exterior storage buildings day. Val and Earl move along, looking everywhere. As they pass a dark open doorway into the building, a shape suddenly flies out and clings to Earl. He staggers back. Val whirls with his rifle. It's Kathy. She holds onto Earl frantically, still clutching her trusty crowbar. Jesus, Kathy. She talks deliriously fast. I thought everyone was dead. I've been trying to get to Leroy's car, but I had to keep hiding. Those things are everywhere. It's not the worms. It's the little things. I've seen them. It's okay. You're okay. Where's your truck? Do you have it? We have to get to it right now. They start back in the direction of Kathy's lab. Have you heard from Burt and Heather? She shakes her head, pulling Earl forward. They all jump as we hear a distant food scream. They start to run. Exterior Kathy's lab day. They hurry back toward the building. Don't tell me to calm down. You don't understand. They'll eat your car motor. They eat people. Car motors, everything. It's okay. We're going. It's going to be okay. But they round a corner of the building to see the Volvo is covered with creatures. The hood is torn up, shredded. Val and Earl gape. Son of a bitch! They're eating the engine! They duck back around the corner, but we hear food screams! Shit! They saw us! Cut. Our heroes dash madly back the way they came. Meanwhile, we cut to exterior refinery storage yard day. Bert and Heather's truck rolls in from the desert, passing alongside rows of stacked building materials and pipes. Interior, exterior, Bert and Heather's truck moving day. Heather is driving. She and Bert look around uneasily. Hope everybody's okay. Wait. Did you see that? Slow down, hon. I think I saw something. As Bert peers around, whap! A creature smacks into the side window right beside his head. Instantly, wham! Thud! Smack! More creatures leap all over the outside of the cab, flattened against the windows. Exterior, the truck day. Wiggling creatures literally cover the front end of the truck, snarling, grunting. There is a pause. Seems like Bert and Heather are goners. But then... Bam, 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 bam. Semi-auto pistol fire erupts from every inside. Creatures are fucking blasted lifelessly in every direction. With a roar, the truck lumbers forward. Creatures still clinging to the hood and fenders. Heather unlocks the bullet-riddled windshield and swings it up out of her way. Heather steers with one hand and shoots with the other. Bam! Bam! She blasts the creature off the hood. Boom! Bert stands on the running board, wildly watching for other targets. Suddenly points off to one side. There! Over there! They are just passing an aisle between rows of stacked materials, and sprinting towards us down the aisle are Val, Earl, and Kathy. Bert! Hey! Heather swings the truck around, heading back toward the entrance to the aisle. Val, Earl, and Kathy race out the end and veer toward the oncoming truck. Bert pulls Kathy up into the cab. Val and Earl jump onto the running boards. Don't stop! Go! Go! What's going on? What the hell are those things? Heather steps on it. The truck grinds forward, picking up speed just as the group of creatures that was chasing the trio bursts out from the end of the aisle. They freeze, standing in a tight knot, momentarily startled as they find themselves faced with the massive steel grill of the Deuce and a Half bearing down on them. Pan with it a squish! With staccato thuds and shrieks, creatures disappear under the wheels in a whirl of creature souffle. Interior, exterior, Burt and Heather's truck moving day. Val, Bert, and Earl scramble back over the explosives in the bed to look out the rear of the truck. Angle their POV. The truck is now racing parallel to a long row of building supplies. We hear foul screams! A moving cloud of dust wells up from the other side of the stack, kicked up by a horde of unseen creatures chasing them. Back to scene. The men react. This does not look good. They shout to each other, floor it! Punch it! Goose it! Do what I can with what I got! Heather, they get on this truck. We are dog food. Tell me about it! Exterior refinery day. The Deuce and a Half thunders out into the open desert, but Angle creatures burst into view, wildly pursuing. Interior, exterior, Bert and Heather's truck moving day. From the wildly bouncing and swaying tailgate, Bert blasts away. Rapid fire! Emptying his pistol at the pursuing creatures with little effect. He shouts to Val, so what the hell are those things? Well, the big things that turned into a lot of little things. Bert tries to absorb this while slamming another magazine into his pistol. He starts firing again. Boom, boom. Earl and Val take shots with their double rifles. Bert shakes his head. This just isn't gonna do it. This just isn't gonna do it. Val looks down, realizing they are sitting on 2.5 tons of bouncing, tumbling mortar shells, 90mm cannon rounds, crates of C4, etc. He spots one of Bert's Graboid killing bombs. He stares down at it, getting an idea, tossing aside his rifle. Interior, truck, cab, moving day. Heather concentrates intensely, picking her route as carefully as she can. Val pops through the rear canvas curtain, thrusting the bomb out where she can see it. How do I set this for 5 seconds? Punch in 0, 5, and... But Bert pushes in between them. Need your Glock! She swiftly slaps her handgun into his hand with magazines while expertly double clutching and upshifting. Bert clambers back to the rear. We hear him firing during, and press that red arming button. When you're ready, just push the start button. Val nods and ducks back into the bed, working on the bomb. Interior truck bed, moving day. Bert is firing Heather's Glock, boom, boom, picking his shots more carefully. He shouts back, they're ganging on us! I'm almost out of ammo! Val joins him at the tailgate. Bert spots the bomb. I like it! Val raises the bomb, ready to throw, mentally timing their distance. But as he puts his thumb on the start button, we hear, hey-o! Hey-o! Exterior truck day as it slams through a shallow gully, literally going airborne, speed style. Cut wide as we see Val thrown out over the tailgate, flying 10 feet into the air. Whoop! He lands, disappearing in a huge cloud of dust. Angle. Val sits up in a daze. He looks down at the bomb. 4, 3, 2. He punches the stop button. He looks up. Through the dust and sagebrush, we can make out the herd of happy creatures bearing down on him, mouths opening wide. Interior, exterior, Bert and Heather's truck moving day. We hear everyone shouting, "We lost Val! Go back! Go back! Hurry! I say! Heather cranks the truck around insanely, throwing up a huge fan of dirt. Angle, Val, he leaps to his feet, looking around desperately. There's only one place to run. Exterior, top of pipeline, day. It's a partially completed above-ground pipeline. Imagine a section of the Alaska pipeline. The open end faces him. He dashes to it and looks in. It slopes down to a big valve junction at the bottom of a hill. He can see a pool of light. He looks back, push in on his wide-eyed face as we hear creatures closing in on him. No choice, he dives headfirst into the pipe. Interior, pipeline, day. Val slides down with a frightened roller coaster yell, weirdly echoing. He hits the end. Gong! There's an open access panel directly above him. He looks back up the sloping pipe. The snarling creatures are crowding into the other end. Then they start wildly slipping and sliding down after him. Val gets a wild-eyed look, a crazy idea. Yeah! Yeah! Come on! Come on! I'm right here! He resets the bomb timer, drops the bomb, and springs up out of the pipe. Val leaps out. He slams a heavy access door down over the opening for good measure. We hear echoing creatures as they pile up just beneath him. Val runs to a pile of discarded pipe sections and dives behind them for cover. And with a terrific blast, the bottom end of the pipeline is blown to smithereens. Exterior, top of pipeline, day. As though from an enormous cannon, the creatures are blasted out the end of the pipe. Angle, the truck, as it heads back toward Val, everyone gazes up in amazement like a crowd watching fireworks, looking off screen as the unseen creatures arc across the sky. Exterior, building, day. The side of a distant refinery building is splattered with creature parts. Yay! Exterior, bottom of pipeline, day. Val rises slowly up from behind his cover, amazed at his success. Bert and Heather's truck rolls up, the others staring at him with equal amazement. Pretty damn good. But Bert wants a full explanation. So, big things turn into little things. You mean they had babies? No, Bart. It just changed real quick. There was nothing left behind. Metamorphosis? That's it. That's the word. So, they don't live underground anymore? And they don't hunt by sound. They can see you even though they don't have any eyes. Figure that one out. And they'll kill themselves just so one of them can get to you. So what you're saying is, it's a whole new ball game. Actually, that's a Bert. So what you're saying is, it's a whole new ball game. Great. How many of them are there? You think you got them all? But suddenly there is a distant sound. They all whirl nervously to look off. Angle. It's a motorcycle. It's Hank on his Harley. Back to scene. Clothes on Heather as she stares off at him. Who the heck is that? Widen as Hank comes roaring in, towing a mini cycle trailer with a tarp-covered object lashed on top. He slides to a stop. You ain't gonna believe this. You guys, you ain't gonna believe it. He whips off the tarp, revealing a living, hog-tied creature. Its beak is roped shut like an alligator's mouth, but it makes a muffled scream anyway. Kathy steps forward, awestruck. My God, you got one alive. You seen these? They all nod. But you never caught a live one? They shake their heads. He's relieved and delighted. I found one of your big worms. Son of a bitch. If you weren't telling the truth. Anyway, it's beached just like a sick whale. And then I see 6 of these little darlings just eating their way out of its belly. I tell you, I have got a strong stomach. But that gave me a case of the queasies. No problem. Well, no. No sooner than they chew their way out of their mama, they come at me like I'm a chicken on a spit. But I took care of them. Me and Big Ed. He pats his big 44 mag revolver. Anyway, I saw this little guy was just stunned. So I honked at him. And here I am. What do you think he's worth? The big truck exterior Kathy's lab warehouse day. The big truck rolls to a stop inside the warehouse. They all climb out, Bert toting his monster 50 caliber anti-tank rifle. Hank pulls his Harley in right behind him. Take it to my lab. Val and Earl help Hank lift his captured creature, and they all head for Kathy's lab. We tilt down and move slowly toward Bert and Heather's truck. The wheels and undercarriage are splattered with the remains of the creatures they ran over. But now, something wedged between the dual rear axles moves. A horribly mangled creature suddenly drops down onto the ground, barely alive. It begins to drag itself painfully, inching along with its beak. Interior Kathy's lab day later. Close on the creature, now untied and in a strong makeshift cage, sitting on a lab table. The animal paces frenetically, three-pronged tongue occasionally sliding out to feel around. Widen as a 2x4 rises up vertically in front of the cage from beneath the table. The board waves back and forth. The creature does not react. The 2x4 now bangs loudly on a file cabinet beside the cage. Still, the creature does not react. Now Bert's hand rises above and waves. The creature instantly reacts, emitting the food scream. It then clamps its beak onto the cage bars and yanks with terrific force. I knew it. Infrared. Bert stands up with a triumphant look. Val and Earl rise up on either side of him. The others step out from hiding, places behind doors and cabinets. Angle creature's infrared POV. The animal's infrared view of the world is vague and shadowy, except for the warm bodies of the people. They are seen as brilliant, human-shaped blobs of color. Exposed skin shows up more brightly than does closed skin, etc. It can't hear us, and it doesn't actually see us. It senses the heat of our bodies. Like a sniper scope. Back to scene. Body heat. Body heat, huh? That's why they hump the way they do. Damn, I am lucky I got away. The creature food screams again. Val winces. Damn, if they can't hear anything, why do they make such a racket? Who are they screaming to? Bert holds out his palms toward the creature as though warming them near a fire. Whoa, you feel that? It gives off a lot of heat when it screams. That's it. I bet that's how they communicate. I mean, the sound is incidental. They make noise, but they're really signaling each other with their body heat. It only sees heat? It's not so weird. A rattler strikes at body heat. No, actually, that's not so weird. A rattler strikes at body heat. None never got me, though. Hank guy is really weird. Val suddenly realizes that's why they tore up the cars. Because the engines were hot. They thought it was food. What about the radio tower? Same thing. That electronic gear puts out all kinds of heat. Hank moves to a stack of Bert's hyper-concentrated food bars. Several are already empty. He tears open a fresh one and tosses the food into the cage. As soon as its ever-searching tongue brushes it, the beast gobbles it greedily. Now that stuff ain't warm. How's he know to eat it? He tastes it with his tongue. Look, see how he's dragging his tongue all over? He tastes anything he likes. He eats it. The others nod. Hank throws the creature another hunk of food. It finds it and gobbles it. The creature's stomach is starting to swell noticeably. How much can it eat? Those MREs aren't cheap, Seems like they can digest almost anything. The creature, now quite bloated, suddenly spits out a disgusting blob of food. Looks like he's had enough. But now the creatures make yet another new, odd sound. A sort of gurgling groan. All eyes are on it as it flops over on its side, groaning. You fed it too much. You made it sick. Bullshit. Probably your fancy-ass food made it sick. But they fall silent and stare with horrified fascination. The creature's mouth opens wider and wider, distending unnaturally, vomiting slime and blood. Come on, buddy. Don't die on the wild man. The creature's mouth opens wider. Its throat swells to impossible size. Finally, with a grotesque vomiting sound, a slime-coated blob, nearly half as big as the creature itself, is forced painfully out of its mouth. The blob bursts open, revealing a new creature. Oh my lord! The twin ogres struggle to their feet. Junior looks around. Sensing the humans, it lets out its first food scream. Hermaphrodites. They all look at her. What? They reproduce without having sex. Val and Earl look at each other. What a horrible thought. Hank eyes the two creatures, excited. I claim both of them. Well, now, just a minute. It was our food. Kathy starts to pace with excitement. Camera follows her as she moves back and forth past an interior window that looks into the warehouse area where the vehicles are parked. Whenever one of them gets enough food, it just... And there's another one. And 2 makes 4, 4 makes 8. It's exponential. Val, Earl, Bert, and Heather exchange nervous glances. Kathy keeps pacing. Well, shit. I give him quite an edge. You never see this in higher animals. Ever! It's astounding. Don't you get it? Yeah, we get it. We just don't want it. Yeah, we ought to think about leaving. Yeah, let's hit the road. Camera moves subtly in on Kathy so the window is larger and larger in frame each time she passes it. I mean, these things were on a completely different evolutionary path. Each time she's passed it, the window has been vacant. But this time, a creature is right on the other side. It instantly smashes through the glass, making a grab for Kathy as it tumbles inside. Pandemonium! Kathy scrambles backward right up over a file cabinet. Earl impulsively kicks the thing like a football. It sails shrieking into the far wall. As it scrambles angrily to its feet, Bert, Heather, and Hank all pull their handguns and fire simultaneously. The thing is dusted. The group stands in shocked silence. I guess we didn't get all of them. Come on, into the truck. They start through the door to the warehouse, but freeze as they hear more food screams coming from Bert and Heather's truck. Several creatures stand over cartons of Bert's food, which they've dragged from the truck and torn open. Empty food wrappers are everywhere. More creatures are on the hood of the truck. The still warm engine has been destroyed. The creatures' food scream again, and the heads of even more creatures pop up from everywhere. Behind, under, inside, on top of the truck. Back to scene. The humans back away from the door. The food got into your damn superfood, Bert! The creatures charge. Heather slams the door. We don't have enough ammo! Hank steps to the window, smugly aiming Big Ed. But, click! Oh, shit! He fumbles at his belt for cartridges, but Val yanks him along as everyone dashes for the lab's front door, Bert grabbing his anti-tank rifle. Exterior, Kathy's lab, day. 6 desperate humans burst forth from the lab and dash across open space. Hank pauses to slam the door. Hide before they see us! We can't let them see where we go! Everyone dashes behind the next building, managing to get hidden just before a few creatures smash out through the front door of the lab, but they pause. No sign of their prey. They start scanning with their radar heads, fanning out slowly, blindly searching the ground with their sweeping tongues. Exterior, next building, day. Behind the building, everyone's flattened against the wall. Bert peeks around the corner. Hank yanks him back. Don't even poke your nose out, man. Nose heat. It worked. It worked. They lost track of us. At least for now. That's it. If they see where you hide, they get you. But if they don't, you can lose them. So you're saying we have a chance? Maybe? So what do we do? Leroy's car should still be okay. It's up at the distillation plant. Great. We drive like hell. Just got to get out of here without one of them seeing us. Kathy leads the group and sprints off, looking over their shoulders. Exterior, retaining wall, day. Crouching low, the group moves cautiously along a retaining wall. It's not too much further, but as she rounds the end of the wall, Kathy springs back, slamming into Earl. There's one up there! Did it see you? If it had, we'd be hearing about it. Heather cocks her pistol. How far is it? I don't know, 100 yards. That's a heck of a pistol shot. Uh-huh. Bert flips off the safety on his anti-tank rifle. Val cautions. You gotta get him before he calls the others. I know. Bert takes a zen moment. Then pops up, finds his target, and aims. The creature seems impossibly far away, a very small spot against a concrete block wall. The animal turns, freezes, as it senses Bert. It starts to open its mouth. The anti-tank rifle. Boom! The concussion raising a cloud of dust around Bert, and the creature is atomized, vanishing in a blood-orange mist. When that clears, we see there's also a fist-sized hole blown right through the concrete wall behind it. Heather stands up and pats Bert on the back. The others rise up, a little shell-shocked. Jesus, you smoked him. Doing what I can with what I got. Kathy leads the way again as they rush off. Exterior, refinery, distillation plant, Leroy's car, day. We are on the other side of the concrete wall. We look through the bullet hole at our heroes hurrying towards us. Camera moves back with them as they come around the end of the wall. In line with the bullet hole, we pass an oil drum. The .50 caliber bullet has gone through that too. We next pass a small utility shed. Big bullet hole in both sides. Our group, looking ahead, suddenly slows to a stop. All staring off in disbelief. Camera continues back until we see what they see. Leroy's car with a gaping bullet hole right through the engine compartment. The car quietly drips black oil, green brake fluid, red transmission fluid. Val frantically opens the hood. Earl and Hank gather with him to assess the damages. The engine is a total loss. Everyone stares at Bert. I didn't know. How could I have known? Heather sags down on an oil drum, speaking softly. I don't know, Bert. Anybody else be happy with a .458 shooting 500 grain lead cars? But no, you got a lug of .50 caliber pumping out custom bronze solids. We were supposed to be up against Graboids. I wanted maximum penetration. Well, you got it. Food screams interrupt them. They all turn. A few creatures, the first of the horde, have come round the end of the wall and are food screaming in unison. The humans scatter. Val, Bert, and Heather dash back toward the distillation tower. It's covered with a maze of entwining pipes. Bert and Heather fire a few shots from their pistols. Earl grabs Kathy, pulling her toward an open door in a small building across from the distillation plant. Hank blasts away with his big revolver, backing around a corner into exterior, refinery alley day. Hank finds himself in an alley between two buildings. Blank walls, no doors. There's only one possible place to hide. The large scoop bucket of a backhoe. It's essentially like a big bathtub resting on the ground. He dives into it and lays flat. Interior, laundry building, day. Earl and Kathy rush in and slam the door. It's a small laundry room. Big bends hold oil workers' overalls. There's a moment of silence. Are we safe in here? I mean, they can't see us, right? But they saw us come in. They always go straight for the last place they saw you. And wham! A screaming creature hits the door from outside. Kathy and Earl leap away from the door, looking all around. Exterior, refinery, distillation tower, day. Val, Heather, and Bert climb the maze of pipes. Bert struggles with the anti-tank gun. He can't climb with it. Frustrated, he lets it drop and climbs for his life. Exterior, distillation plant, roof, day. Val leaps from the tower to the metal roof of the distillation building. He extends a hand to help Heather across. Bert joins them. They all look down. We hear the frustrated food screaming below. Where's everybody else? Val is already rushing to look over as he points. Earl and Kathy are over there. Angle, their POV, the laundry building. A porch roof prevents us from seeing clearly, but we catch shadows and glimpses of creatures milling around the door, battering it. Back to scene. Jesus, that door's not going to hold long. We got to do something. Bert and Heather drop down, drawing their pistols doubtfully. 6. 4. They brace their weapons on the rooftop edge, taking well-aimed shots. Occasionally we hear the distant eek of a hit creature. Interior, laundry room, day. Wham! A creature hits the door. It cracks a little. Earl and Kathy stand in the center of the room, brandishing pathetic weapons. A mop and a broom. After a moment, this is pathetic! He looks around desperately. Wait a second. I got a plan. I think. Exterior, refinery, alley, day. We're inside the scoop bucket with Hank. He lies stock still. The lip is just a bit higher than the creature's heads. We hear them rooting all around, but they can't see him. A tongue slithers up over the lip and feels down inside of the bucket, coming within inches of him, but then withdraws. The sound of the creatures grunting and snorting diminishes as they move off down the alley. He peeks out. The coast is clear. He runs for it. Interior, laundry room, day. The door is being splintered. Tongues slither in through the cracks, groping around. Stay out! Keep out! Kathy grabs an empty long-neck beer bottle, smashes off the end, and stabs one of the tongues with a jagged glass, pinning it to the floor. It writhes in agony as we hear the creature outside shriek. Earl glances over at her, impressed. For some reason, he's standing at a utility sink, running hot water full blast. Exterior, laundry room, day. The wounded creature flops backward off the porch, hissing and screeching in agony. As we hear other creatures battering at the door, a second creature sidles over and squats beside the wounded one, seemingly concerned. But then suddenly it takes a test bite out of him. The wounded one leaps up, snarling like, I'm not that wounded, asshole! The second creature backs off, disappointed. That's fucking hilarious. I'm not that wounded, asshole. I love you, Steve and Brent. You guys are hilarious. Interior, laundry room, day. Earl pulls a set of steaming overalls from the sink, wincing as his hands burn. Ow! Ow! Shit! He steps to an open window and starts to pin the overalls to a pulley-style clothesline. Kathy catches on. It's her turn to be impressed. That's great! She rushes over to help him. They get the overalls attached. Be ready to run. Head for that oil tower and climb! Exterior, laundry room, day. The steaming overalls go jingling away out the side window. The creatures all turn, heads cocked, to stare. What's that? What the hell? It's warm! And with a mighty food scream, they're off after the overalls. And an instant later, the laundry room door is yanked open and Earl and Kathy come pounding out. They head for the distillation tower and climb like they were born to do it. Exterior, Kathy's lab, warehouse, day. We hear shots from Hank's 44. Then Hank, out of breath, dashes into view. He runs to the big garage doors of the warehouse, shoves them open, and ducks inside. Interior, Kathy's lab, basement, day. Hank frantically shoves the doors closed. We hear creatures slam into the door and scrabble angrily outside. Hank now turns and squints into the darkness. There stands his Harley, unharmed. He nods heavenward. Thank you, Jesus. A food scream erupts from the dark. He spots a lone creature licking the last remains of Bert's food from inside a carton. It charges. Hank aims Big Ed, and again, click. Shit. He claws at his cartridge belt, grabs one cartridge, his mouth opening in an involuntary scream. Intercut charging creatures, screaming, Hank screaming, fumbling open the gun's loading port. Creature closer, screaming, Hank screaming, jams and shell, slams the port. Creature, all mouth now, screaming, Hank screaming, spins the cylinder, cocks the gun. Creature 3 feet away, he fires, boom! Creature slams into him, knocking him back into the wall, then flops dead at his feet. Asshole! He jogs over to his Harley, revs it up. He glances back at the warehouse doors. The shadows of creatures can be seen moving back and forth along the base, so he guns it towards the open door of Kathy's lab. Exterior, distillation plant rooftop day. Earl and Kathy have joined Val, Burt and Heather on the distillation building's roof. There are no other vehicles. There was nobody else here. There wasn't supposed to be. Look, can't you guys pick them off? Can't you guys just pick them off one by one? They're sitting ducks down there. Earl, we are bone dry. They're not magic, you know. We only had a couple rounds. For snakes. Left all our supplies on the damn truck anyway. Good lesson, though. We should carry more equipment on our person at all times. Heather waves him away. Val, how long before somebody's going to get worried about us? Who knows? The last report we gave them, they said everything was just fine. We were killing graboids left and right. They hear the Harley coming. Hank letting out a rebel yell. Angle their POV. Hank zooms past on the other side of the building, shouting at the top of his lungs. I'll be back with the goddamn whole Mexican army! Andale! He roars away. Back to scene. The people on the rooftop cheer. Angle a creature waits behind the corner of the building, head cocked, curiously watching Hank zoom toward it. The creature leaps into his path. Wham! He slams into it, splattering it, but he goes skidding out of control into a row of stacked empty oil drums. They fly everywhere, clanging down as he and the bike disappear into them. Quick cuts as we glimpse 3 or 4 other creatures rushing in among the fallen barrels. We hear shots and Hank screaming, and then the screaming stops. Exterior distillation plant roof day. On the rooftop, everyone turns slowly away from the sight. Fade out. I have to pee. Yeah. Whew. 2.5 hours so far. That's how long it took me to pee. This big mother humper. Goddamn. Cheers to us all. Fade in. Exterior distillation plant roof. Later day. The 5 sum sits glumly on the rooftop, baking in the sun. Down below, the creatures stare patiently up at them. Well, one thing's sure the same. Once they know you're here, they really don't go away. Don't worry, Heather. We'll come up with a plan. You know, we're getting good at it. I don't know. It's like a pretty tight spot. only because we don't have the right equipment. Of course, if certain people had bothered to gather intelligence on the creatures before bumbling into the situation, Val flares instantly. He has been expecting this. Don't start on me, Bert. Nobody made you come. We wouldn't be down here with single-shot big bores when we should be packing full auto, preferably belt-fed. They are goddamn Precambrian life forms, Bert. How is anybody supposed to research Precambrian life forms? Come on, Val. We're stuck on a goddamn roof with a bunch of what's this trying to eat us? I mean, where have I seen that before? I can't believe I let you talk me into this. Earl stalks off. Val is stunned at his outburst. Bert and Heather amble over to be near Earl. Only Kathy is left near Val. He does a take as he sees her watching him. She shrugs and smiles. I'm not mad at you. Of course, I haven't known you very long. She gets a sudden thought. Do you two know how to shoot all different kinds of guns? Bert and Heather exchange a look. Are you talking to us? Because Leroy had a lot of guns. I mean, if we could get to them without getting eaten. My God, why didn't you say so? Where are they? Over in the residence trailers. He had a whole collection. Did he have maybe a Chinese SKS? AR-15? HK-91? I give my IT for an HK-91. I don't know their guns. Okay, we got a plan. What's the plan? Heather and I are going to go for those weapons. Okay, and Earl, you and I decoy these little geeks. That's the plan. You're going to have to show us the way. No problem. Okay, we'll get them all to come to the other end of the building. You got to stay out of sight. Right. Bert, Heather, and Kathy duck down. Val and Earl run along the edge of the roof, waving their arms and shouting. Come on, you little heat-seeking bastards! Boom! Screams erupt from below. The unseen horde of creatures scuttles along beneath Val and Earl. Val calls to the others. Ha! It looks like all of them! Get going! And watch yourselves! At the other end of the building, Bert, Heather, and Kathy start climbing down the distillation tower. Angle, base of the distillation tower. Keeping out of the creature's view, the trio dashes away. Angle, Roof, Val, and Earl stare down at the creature. God, they're ugly. And stupid. A devilish grin springs across Val's face. You know, I think I'm feeling the call of nature. Yeah, drain the main vein. With great ceremony, they unzip their flies. Take note, Don Michael Paul. As Kathy, exterior refinery, residence trailers, day. As Kathy leads Bert and Heather down a long row of house trailers, they hear a tremendous angry roar from the creatures in the distance. Good Lord! What's going on back there? Don't think about it. Keep going. Exterior distillation plant, roof, day. Val and Earl are enjoying a good laugh at the creature's expense. Val shouts down to them. You think you're mad now? Wait till I got a machine gun in my hands. I'm fucking loving this. These guys are having a good time. Earl laughs as they zip up. Zip! But then he grabs Val's arm, pointing down. Maybe we shouldn't have done that. Angle, corner of the building. A creature plants itself at the corner of the building, bracing its feet and grabbing the corner firmly in its beak. A second creature clambers on top of the first and also clamps its beak to the corner. And now a third one climbs the first two. Angle, Val, and Earl, they cannot believe it. They're making a stack. Val points off toward the other corner. We're making 2 steaks! Interior, Leroy's trailer day. Bang! Bert smashes the door in. Widen as they enter with Kathy. She proudly gestures to the opposite wall. Indeed, the wall is covered with guns. But Bert and Heather stare in shock. These are all muzzle loaders. What loaders? Old-timey guns. Black powder. Single-shot jobs. Well, I didn't know. Guns are guns. All right. Now let's think here. Exterior, distillation plant, roof, day. Val and Earl back up across the roof, shouting for Bert! Heather! The heads of 3 creatures finally poke up over the edge, fixating on the 2 lone food products. Food! Scream! Val and Earl turn and leap to the distillation tower, half climbing, half falling down it. They hit the ground running. Exterior, refinery, unfinished buildings, day. The cowboys dash around the corner of a half-finished building. There's nothing but the vast open desert ahead of them. They freeze. That's no good. We're out of sight. We gotta hide. Val looks around, thinking hard. He grabs an unmounted door, holding it up in front of him by the knob. Get behind me. Oh, come on, man. Do it. Hide behind me. We can hear the creatures coming. Earl does as he's told. Angle some creatures come racing around the corner of the building. They stop when they don't see their prey. Widen to see Val and Earl directly in front of them, but hidden behind the door. Great. Now what? Now this, I hope. Move with me. Move. That's gonna work, damn it. Now move. And step. And step. And step. Val shuffles sideways with the door. Earl glued to his back, staying in step with him. The creatures don't react. They sense nothing of hidden Val and Earl sidestepping along in front of them. They go into search mode, feeling the ground with their tongues. I don't know how you come up with this shit. I think on my feet. Interior, Leroy's trailer, day. Kathy watches intently as Bert and Heather feverishly load Kentucky squirrel rifles, ramrodding patch balls down the long barrels. Exterior, unfinished buildings, day. The door shuffles along. It's one of my favorite scenes in Tremors 2, the door thing. The door shuffles along. Val and Earl have their odd movement down to a rhythm, and they've managed to get quite a distance from the creatures. Earl looks over his shoulder. Take it right. Oh, moving right. They start moving off at an angle. A food scream comes from behind. They look back, startled. They've been spotted by a lone creature. In the distance, in a cloud of dust, the rest of the creatures come running. Shit! Stampede! Val lets the door drop and they take off. Heather! Bert! Men run desperately, but the single creature that spotted them is gaining, gaping mouth, coming closer and closer to Val's heel. Then out of nowhere we hear a distant ruling. Boom! The creature drops flat on its face, skidding to the stop in the dust, dead. Still running, startled, Val and Earl glance back at the dead creature, then look off to exterior hillside. Bert and Heather, standing heroically on top of a rise. A big puff of white smoke drifts away from Bert as he lowers a sleek Kentucky long rifle with satisfaction. Come here, son. 150 yards. This way, guys. Pour it on! Angle Val and Earl as they change direction and dash toward Bert and Heather. Angle the rest of the creature, still 200 yards away. They swerve, charging up the hill after the guys. Exterior, hillside, Bert and Heather. Heather raises a double-barreled muzzleloader and fires. Now Kathy struggles up the rise behind them. She's pushing a wheelbarrow piled high with more muzzleloaders. She hands fresh ones to Bert and Heather. Exhausted, Val and Earl stumble into frame. What the hell are these? Don't ask. Grab a weapon. Make every shot count. and like Civil War soldiers, they form ranks for volley fire, firing, grabbing new weapons from Kathy, firing again. Thick gun smoke swirls around them. They fall back, take cover behind a line of oil drums, and keep firing. Everyone is sweating, faces smudged with black powder. Kathy frantically reloads for them, talking to herself. Powder, patch, ball, cap. Powder, patch, ball, cap. In the distance, several creatures fall with each volley, but more keep coming, getting closer and closer. Bert winds up the spring in a bizarre-looking, ornate German wheel and lock and fires! Val and Earl are down to 6-barreled pepper box handguns. Heather cranks the loading ratchet on a 17th century crossbow and lets fly a bolt. 17th century crossbow. Val turns to grab a new weapon. The wheelbarrow is empty. Kathy shrugs. That's it. Burt and Heather are frantically trying to reload the long guns, ramming powder charges down the muzzle. Creatures are almost on top of them. No time to finish loading. Burt and Heather fire the ramrods, and 2 creatures are knocked backwards, skewered by the long metal rods. But there are still 6 more creatures coming. The humans frantically trying to reload, but there is 0 time. Get down! Knock down! They all do, but Bert runs out into the open. He's loading a rifle as he goes. Come on! Come and get me, you bastard! Come on! Let's go! Ha! You want a tango? Ha! Ha! Yeah! Ah! The name is Bertram H. Comer! Like I said, podcast people, you gotta do the video. The videos. Come on! Come on, you bastard! The creatures veer off and follow him. Heather is horrified. Bert! Honey! He's got a plan. I hope he's got a plan. No! Bert! Come here! Exterior, refinery, big building, main door, day. Bert runs madly towards the large building with an open garage door. The creatures are right behind him. He finishes loading and whirls to fire a shot. Boom! One creature drops. The others keep coming. Bert starts reloading again as he disappears into the building, shouting back, "Shut the door! Shut the door!" Exterior, hillside. Val realizes what Bert's up to. He springs into action, dashing away. The others leap up to follow him toward exterior, refinery, big building, main door, day. Val rockets into frame, leaping up to grab the pull rope on the garage door, riding it down, and slamming the door shut. Interior, big buildings. Day. The place is piled high with all sorts of boxes and stacks. Bert dashes among them. We catch glimpses of only the heads of the food screaming creatures as they scuttle after him. Bursts out through the side door of the building, spinning around and jamming the handle of his rifle through the handle of the door to hold it shut. Wham! We hear an angry creature hit the door from inside. The others rush up to Bert as he stands panting. A grin spreads over his face. Problem solved. Great going, Bert! I say we go in and get him right now. Damn right. We don't want him snacking on a rat or cockroach or a goddamn ant. Absolutely. Where's that 1860 Patterson revolving rifle? Back there someplace. Just take this Harrington pepper box. But then they hear food screams. They look in every direction, but they see nothing. Again, food screams. They realize they're coming from inside the house. I mean the building. Oh, Christ! I found something to eat. What's in there, Kathy? I don't know. They all step back to get a better look at the wall, widen to see a sign. El Mesen de Comida. They all pull out their phrase books and start looking through them. Elmison, warehouse. De comida. Food. They all look at each other. Oh, shit. And from inside, we hear the distinctive vomiting sound of the creatures, disgorging more of their kind, and lots of chewing, munching, and grunting, growing louder and louder. The group starts backing helplessly away from the building. The guns! We gotta reload all the guns! We'll never have time! It'll never be enough! Bombs, then. We'll get some bombs from your truck blown to hell before they get out. That sounds like a plan to everyone. They start running. High angle, 5 tiny humans run through the refinery. Exterior, big building, day. The eating and disgorging noise from within is now deafening. It sounds like 10,000 demon monkeys pan the walls of the building. The sheet metal shakes and shudders. Then we see the walls of the building are actually starting to bulge. Interior, Kathy's lab, warehouse, day. Bert stands in the bed of the deuce and a half, handing out bombs. When everyone is armed, he comments grimly, "Of course, if you realize things go wrong, and you sure they're going to get you, there's another way to go." He holds out the bomb meaningfully. Kathy doesn't get it. What? Yeah, come on. The others lead the way. Burt and Heather are trailing during. And that's another thing, Bert. You gotta stop telling people to commit suicide. They're gonna think you're nuts. I'm just making them aware of their options. Exterior, big buildings, very wide. The building is seen small, on a rise in the distance. Everyone comes running in past camera, racing up toward the building with their bombs. Go, 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 go! Then it happens. The building splits open. The walls burst outward. The roof collapses. All we can see at this distance is a tremendous, solid mass of wriggling, hungry creatures gushing out in all directions. The people stumbled to a spellbound stop, staring, and in the distance, an earth-shuddering "Food scream" erupts. Zulus from hell. Val breaks out of the trance first, sprinting back the other way. "Come on! You got a plan?" Exterior oil storage tank, day. On a hill above Kathy's lab building, Val leads the group to a huge oil storage tank. He kneels at its base and sets his bomb against the metal. "Get behind this tank and be ready to run. I'm going to turn the entire goddamn place into one big river of fire." "We're with you, Val." "My God, it just might work." Kathy is very confused. But, we were never in production, Val. There's no oil. The tank is empty." Push in on Val as the blood drains from his face. What kind of cruel universe is this? The sound of the approaching wave of creatures grows louder. The people look around desperately. There is nothing but open desert beyond the tank. "Can't go that way. Come on." They grab Val, dragging him with them, back down the hill toward Kathy's lab building. Interior, Kathy's lab, warehouse, day. The group dashes into the warehouse. Earl pauses in the doorway, raising his bomb. "Might as well check these bombs. I mean, what the hell?" They all nod, set their timers, heave the bombs outside as far as they can. They swing the big doors shut and back away from them. We hear the thundering horde of creatures rushing closer outside. Then we hear 5 deafening explosions. Boom, 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 boom. Silence, but then A horrendous food scream erupts from outside, then multiple thuds as creatures attack the outside of the building. The sound of the creatures against the walls moves higher and higher. The shadows of creatures climbing on top of each other blot out the first row of translucent windows. The people's gaze moves up with the shadows, amazed, horrified, as the shadows cover the second row of windows. Then the third. The creatures are 20 feet deep outside. The group backs up. Burt and Heather vainly hide behind some crates against one wall. Val, Earl, and Kathy take cover some distance away, squeezing behind some tall boxes, trying to delay the inevitable. They latch on the warehouse doors, giving way. A huge wave of creatures spills inside. Sensing no warm bodies, they go into their usual routine, spreading out, searching blindly. Val forces himself to think, looking everywhere, at the ceiling, the walls, the floor. Suddenly his eyes fall on a pair of CO2 fire extinguishers. He gets a strange expression. Could this possibly work? He grabs them and crawls closer to Earl. Earl, squirt me with these. What? CO2, it'll make gold. What the hell? Val takes off his jacket and wraps it around his head, leaving just the slit for his eyes during, do it! Just do it before they find us, both of you! Blast me! He hands Kathy the other fire extinguisher. I got a plan. Sort of. He lays flat, bracing himself for a unique experience. Earl and Kathy pull the safety pins and start spraying him down with the sub-freezing CO2. Val grimaces as the biting cold gets worse. Engel, Bert and Heather, mystified as they hear the whooshing and see clouds of white mist billowing from behind the boxes where the others are hiding. A creature passes close. They shrink back into their narrow slot. Engel. We see the boxes where Val, Earl, and Kathy are hiding. The whooshing stops. The mist coming from behind the boxes dies down, then Val steps out into view. He's white as snow, totally frosted from head to toe, shivering. The creatures don't see him. With a deep breath, Val walks right out into the midst of them as he threads his way along. It's working! Get ready to run! I'm gonna decoy him! But Val, how you gonna get out? Pan with Val to see he's headed for Burt and Heather's truck. It's a long walk. I haven't worked that out yet. That's your goddamn plan? Jesus. I'm starting to melt. I'll be ready to run or none of us will make it. His frosty coating is turning to water. Nearby creatures' heads whip around, studying him. Is he food or isn't he? Can't tell yet. Val reaches the truck and climbs up onto it. He digs out a bomb and starts setting the timer. But now he's defrosted enough for the creatures to see him. Deafening food screams as all the creatures finally see him. Val rips off his headdress. Okay, go! Run for it! Earl, Kathy, Burt, and Heather burst out of hiding and dash for the doors, unseen by the creatures facing away from them. On the truck, Val presses the start button and drops the bomb into the mound of explosives at his feet, staring at it, madness in his eyes. Earl lags behind, torn, until he spots a tangled hose on the ground, just outside the doors. He bolts out after the others. Exterior, Kathy's lab, warehouse, day. As Heather pulls the door shut, Earl grabs the end of the hose and frantically starts climbing stacked crates toward the second row of windows. Burt glances down. The hose is still attached to the spigot. He swiftly starts to unscrew it, but Heather steps in, wielding a combat knife, slicing through the hose like butter. Burt flashes her thumbs up. Meanwhile, Kathy is jamming a thick board under the doors to block them shut. Interior, Kathy's lab, warehouse, day. In quick cuts, we see the creatures clambering up onto the truck. Val kicks a few of them back and climbs onto the cab, but as he does so, he bangs his head on one of the light fixtures hanging on a long cord from the ceiling. It sways crazily. He gets an idea. The creatures are now in the bed of the truck, scrabbling over the explosives towards him. He grabs the light fixture, backs up as far as he can, and swings on the light. He sails just above the creature. A forest of stretching tongues hungrily lap up at him, and the fixture tears loose from the rafters. Val falls, but lands next to the wall, the wind knocked out of him. He struggles to his feet and climbs madly right up the 2x4 cross members in the exposed framing of the wall. Exterior, Kathy's lab, warehouse, day. Climbing up outside, Earl reaches the windows and flails wildly with the hose, smashing the glass. He leans inside, feeding the hose in to use as a rope. Val! Val! Val, up here! Just then, a few feet away, the glass smashes out of another window. It's Val! Earl drops the hose, reaches over, grabs his buddy, and hauls him bodily through the window. They tumble down the crates, land in a heap. As the others rush over to them, "My God, Val! Go! Go! Run! What did you do?" I threw a bomb in the truck! He runs off, followed by Earl and Kathy. Burt and Heather are thunderstruck. Only they have any concept of what this really means. They race to catch up during... Yo, what? That's 2.5 tons of high explosive, Val. You saying it's not enough? Good God, Bert, don't tell me it's not enough. Not enough. It's... never mind. Just you run faster. Val drops into a trench about 50 yards from the building to take cover. Kathy and Earl join him. Bert and Heather shoot right past them, calling back, "No! Keep going! It's gonna be big! Big!" A little concerned, Val, Earl, and Kathy leap up and run. Angle, the warehouse doors, starting to sag outwards. Creatures scuffling and grunting inside. Angle, very wide, with the warehouse in background. Everyone runs frantically across the desert. Bert and Heather in the lead. "How long did you set it for?" "I don't know. I just punched it." "God, it's gonna be big! Big!" They come to a deep ravine. Bert and Heather dive into it, followed by Earl and Kathy. "This'll have to do. Stay down. Cover your ears. It's gonna be big! Is it gonna be today?" Val has paused a few steps away next to a little outbuilding, looking back worried. When's it gonna blow? Did he do something wrong? "Val, get down!" Bert scrambles back up to peek over the edge. Heather tries to yank him back down. "Bert! Oh, but I want to see. Just a little. Yeah." Angle, warehouse doors, creatures' tongues are probing through everywhere. The doors are cracking. Angle, very wide, the warehouse. It disappears in a truly gigantic explosion. Not the typical movie fireball. No flame. Just tons of dirt and giant rocks thrown 1,000 feet into the air. At first we hear no noise. Instead we see a shock wave streaking away from the blast at Mach 1, flattening bushes, blurring and shaking camera as it passes. Only then do we hear the rolling, thunderous roar. Slow motion extends the moment as the roar continues throughout. Angle, Bert, and Heather, they're both peeking. Oh, yes. Wow. Thing of beauty. They duck just as the shock wave roars through the frame, obscuring them with dust and debris. Angle, Earl, and Kathy. Kathy curled up, hands over ears, Earl throwing himself bodily on top of her. The shock wave roars through frame. Angle, Val, still standing, astounded at what he has wrought. He leaps in slow motion into the ravine just as the shock wave hits, shattering the little outbuilding beside him and sweeping it entirely out of frame. Angle, the blast, gigantic gigantic cloud boiling up into the sky, almost like a mushroom cloud. The echoes finally die away. There is nothing left but a huge, deep, blackened crater. Angle the group. Covered with dust, rising slowly, shakily up. But only now does debris, blown sky high, finally start falling. Everyone dives back down, covering their heads as chunks of wood, rocks, oil drums, dead creatures, rain down all around them. When that subsides, everyone starts to get up again. Earl and Kathy are a little embarrassed as he finds himself completely on top of her. They start to disentangle themselves. Val dodges a battered oil drum as it rolls into the ravine. Then he gazes off at the blast site. A grin spreads across his face. The others join him. That was just beautiful. Did what I could with what I had. Suddenly, right behind them, the lip of the battered oil drum flies off. Something pops out. They all leap in terror. But it's Hank! He rolls over and blinks in the bright light. Never goddamn got me. Never will. I thought I heard people out here. Hoy! My ears are ringing. What the hell did you do? Anyway, this gets a laugh from everyone. Camera starts a long dolly with the 6 survivors as they begin trudging back toward the distant refinery. First, Val and Earl and Kathy are featured. Val surveys the landscape littered with dead creatures. You realize we're getting all the money. 16 worms. And we are going to charge them for all the little ones, too. You think that's fair? I mean, we did kind of blow up the refinery. Okay, we'll give them a volume discount. I wonder how many little ones we got anyway. He moves off, counting bodies. Hank sidles through frame, following Val during. You get paid for dead ones? Geez, how'd you swing a deal like that? Earl is left walking with Kathy. They smile. Camera drifts over to Burt and Heather walking along. Honey. I gotta do it. Honey, getting out of the house has been good for me. It's time we took some of our gold bullion and it's time we took some of our silver and just blow it on a real luxury vacation. Start living life. Oh, Bert, I just read something about 6 weeks, Maui. Yeah? Jungle Combat Survival School. Perfection. They link arms as camera drifts back to Earl and Kathy walking. Earl's testing the waters. No, I'm serious. I got no reason to go home right away. I could, stay here till your tour duty's up. Well, if that's how it's gonna be, there's some things we should get out in the open, right up front. Sure, of course. Like what? The usual. Like, I was married before. Come on, Kathy. So was I. Got married at 22. To a girl. Totally wrong for me. Typical man. I couldn't see past her looks. I had this image in my head. Miss October, 1968. He sees Kathy eyeing him oddly. Oh, God. Leroy told you? What? Leroy had to tell you. You couldn't have recognized me. Recognized you? I was Miss October 1968. That was my next thing to tell you. I can't believe it bothers some guys, but it does. I hope it doesn't bother you. Earl stares at her, realizing it is her. A big grin spreads across his face. I can live with it. Val rushes up, steering Earl to one side. Camera begins to crane up during... Earl, I just realized. We gotta get one of these things into a freezer. Remember how mad all those scientists were when we let the big worms rot back in perfection? But Earl keeps staring at Kathy, not listening to Val. This time we're gonna be smart about it. Get ourselves a lawyer and a manager and an agent. Are you listening to me? And we fade out. The end. That was awesome. I don't mean me. I love that script. That's so cool. Wow. God damn, that was cool. Sorry. I really love that script because, again, you get all of your favorite characters back and hear them interact each other more. And not just that. Hear how time passes for friends, and when you kind of hold those things, when you've known someone for a really long time, you can tell that Val, Earl, Burt, and Heather all live in the same fucking town because their contention with each other is great. That one of my favorite scenes is always that, if certain people had bothered to gather intelligence on the creatures before bubbling into the situation, clearly just being a jerk to a fucking Earl. I love it. It's funny. Wow, that was dope. I mean, I spilled my coffee. I had to pee. I made it 3 hours. Only drinking a little. That was amazing. For all that. And the books are all good. Everybody, you're probably like, they're all good. They're all good. All good. Buy Steve Wilson's books. That's what they were. I was like, oh no. I don't want to lose those. Yeah. Oh, wonderful. Tucker's Monster. The Tremors Guide. Yeah. Get them all. Great books in general, too. I love reading them. That's why they're right there. Yeah, man. That was just dope. Sorry, I'm just thinking back to that. Because there's so many little jokes you can tell. I would have loved to see that refined more. There's the things that are different. Like I said, those little tiny jokes that you just keep making more and more. Because you know your property. Because Stampede made it from the beginning and they weren't stealing it from anybody else. And it's, fuck you, Universal. Eat a bag. Gigantic fucking dicks. And like I said, I should have done this a year ago. Maybe Fred Ward would still be alive. I don't, Is it strange to blame myself for that? Like I said, that 5/12/93 thing, it's really weird. Note to self, always try to do something. Plan ahead. That's what this is. And I'm going to do that was the end. Everybody is awesome. I love some thank yous. This is going to be a huge episode, so everyone's going to be listening to this. Here comes some thank yous. First of all, oh my god, Alex, Evan, and Helios, I was watching all of your comments. You guys were keeping me going. Hydration is great. That was sick. And you know what? Hank didn't die, did he? It's hilarious. Like, booyah. But thank you guys for being there. Like, that was huge. I don't usually get many viewers for this. So, thank you to Kevin Collins, always out there, retweeting, make stuff happen. Thanks for checking up on me, buddy. Huge thank you to Baby Fark McGeezax. He's still making his intergalactic quality gifts. Go to Twitter, @BabyFarkImgur. Follow him now. And again, those are the best gifts on the internet. He's making the world better with some gifts. So go check it out, folks. I love that man. Thank you to Sons and Shadows, Jeff Johnson, and Kevin Smith. They're going to be on a double episode later. We're really excited about that. And like I said, check out their podcast. Sons and Shadows got some great stuff. They even have an interview with Steve Wilson, the writer of this. So, wink. Check him out. Oh, I always got to thank you, Anthony LaFucci, I said I was mean to you, and I'm sorry. I love you, bro. We all go through hard times, and we have issues, all of us. And if you love another podcast, the We Have Issues podcast by Stevie Wildcard and Anthony LaFucci is tippity top tops. It's the same thing as this, but more people-y. They don't talk about Tremors the whole time. Oh, I saw Alicia Pearson was doing more with the Tremors saga on the Twitter account and writing more fics and stuff. I was reading some of your fics. Those are adorable. Those alternate universes. I think they're in the Discord too. Those are always great to check out. Doesn't matter if they're saucy and sexy. It's characters, you know. Screw you, Don Michael Paul. That's how you do a piss scene in a movie. Drain the main vein. Thank you again. Thank you, Bob Rushy, for everything you're doing on Reddit. Thank you for the Burroughs of it all. Thank you. Octavio San Juan Lopez. I'm going to be on an episode. I got to brush up on my Spanish, actually. But he's writing another version of the Tremors guide that takes place in the last 7 years, ever since Tremors 5 onward. But yeah, Octavio San Juan Lopez. Thank you. Oh my God, I completely forgot. Thank you, Stampede. Thank you, Steve and Brent and Nancy and Ron and Lance and Michelle and Bob and everybody. Thank you to Glenn Maddock. Always, dude does so much behind the scenes. Thank you for everything that you do. All you Stampede people. Aces in my books. Thank you. Which reminds me, there's another one. Thank you to Christopher Dunham at the Cult of Odd podcast. There's another really great podcast. Pay the money for it. Get to Patreon. Or if you can't, check out the YouTube videos. He's a great dude and really knows how to keep it real and jam it in. I don't know. I'm trying to say, how do you do that interview where you're not like a fucking asshole, but you're also asking real questions and being cool? Cult of Odd podcast. Always thank you again to Mario Rivera for letting me be on his podcast too. Point in Progress. I gotta get you guys back too. Please do not let me wash that one away. There was a mod on the official Facebook group. John Daniels, he was helping out with the Tremor Saga this week. They were telling me what you guys were doing, trying to figure out that other problem in the Facebook group. By the way, if you use Facebook at all, it would be heavily appreciated by all Tremor Saga people. Me too, honestly, because it's partly I have been banned from the official Facebook group, my personal regular account banned. And so if you're on Facebook, go to the Tremor Saga group and share any post that you like in the official Tremors franchise group or the Tremors group. Share them everywhere, but share all the Tremors Saga posts in the official Tremors franchise fans. That way, who's ever messing around with that can just see that us Tremies, this is what we like, and you can go fuck yourself. You don't get to choose. We all make the choices here. That's why Stampede is so awesome. Collaboration. Oh, Burt Gummer Meme Stash Guy asked me to be on his podcast too. I'm super excited. It's a libertarian. The North Remembers Liberty podcast. Fuck. I gotta figure it out. Should have had it ready. This is a long ass episode, so forgive me. But thank you, Burt Gummer Meme Stash Guy. We actually had a good conversation about everything that I had to say in the last episode. And again, discussion, folks. We are heading towards violence and a war, and the more that we can all talk to each other, the more you can find other people on your different sides that you don't agree with, and you try to learn to agree with them, you're good. As long as that person isn't trying to punch you, keep trying to talk. Punch Nazis. That's always talk, but once Nazis try to actually just restrict or take your life away, punch. Again, going through so many, like, there's so many people. Like, you know, like, the Tremors Saga tries to tell me, and I do write them down, but I'm like, God damn, I can never keep up with them, because it's like 10 people, so, like, they're going through all that, doing all that shit, which is fucking amazing. I feel like I'm missing somebody. It's like right there, the back of my brain. I always gotta, you know, thank my family. Oh no, Zoran. Oh, that was the one. Sorry, my family next, but Zoran's gonna be on an episode here soon. Actually, just got done with his kill counts, their kill counts. Zoran Graboid on the Dead Meat channel. Fantastic entries on the Tremors saga on everything, but the TV show. Very dope. Oh my god. Seems like so much has happened in the last week. Yeah. So now I'm going to thank my family. Like I said, they always come last because they're the most important to me. I love everybody else, but you all get it. Thank you to my mom. Thank you to Pappy, my dad. Thank you to Lacey. If you listen to the last podcast, she's kind of been shitty to me, but I still thank her and I love her. Thank you to my nephews, Sean Day, Chantrell, Samaje, and Shamar. I love you guys. I miss you so much. I wish you could watch this. I hope you are, honestly. Wow, my battery was at 100% and it's almost dead now on my phone. That's how much we've been doing this. And, as always, I want to thank my wife, my everything, my love, Caitlin Marie Burslofflet. She doesn't do shit besides share posts. But she just supports me. So that's always my, like, I have to thank you. She doesn't listen to any of these episodes either. Because I talk about this all the time. Anyway, like, to the point where, that's why I started a podcast, was it was, like, slightly annoying. And one day, when I'm, like, dead, maybe she'll listen to it and know that I was always thanking her the whole time. She never really knew. But that's what love is. What you're doing when nobody's watching. Yeah. Wow. Again, that was just a cool fucking episode. If anybody wants to do a legit version of that, reach out to me. Want to, like, cut it together, or I'd actually redo it again, and, you know, you do the simultaneous, like, I'd dress up and you just do each part as it goes through, and then we cut it together. I could actually do that too. Just take a long ass time. I'm working. That's where I'm always, like, we're doing this lead project, getting shit done around here. It's summertime, so I'm always in the gardens. I'm always, like, weed whacking, doing shit around the farm. So yeah, that's why I got so many hats. I'm on the farm. And yeah, so anything you can do to help. Like I said, I've still been banned from Reddit. I still laughed. Like I said, I tried to make the Larry Norville and the Nancy Sterngood accounts, and it just wouldn't let me. In fact, everyone in my house has been banned. We have a whole IP, like, ban. Nobody, like, Caitlin's account just got trashed, and then, like, what was supposed to be Sean Day's, he had one, like, that one just got trashed. So it's just like, fuck you, Reddit. So post all over it, because it was doing the most goddamn damage. So yeah, if you want to stampede Tremors and restore the Tremors saga with all your hashtagging or in, go to fucking Reddit, post goddamn everything. I actually said that, and then somebody posted one. There's a meme. Or it was the last four Star Wars movies have taken place on Tatooine, and then it was Earl. We're not gonna get off this rock. That one was doing really well. That one was on the front page. That was just a straight up prequel memes. So yeah, anything you can do, share the fuck out of it. The retweet button always saves lives. Share all the Tremors posts that you can to the official Tremors franchise fans group on Facebook. Check out the Tremors Saga group on Facebook. There's the Discord. Honestly, the Tremors Saga put everything in a link tree, which has just made it super easy. If you ever see that, like, Tremors Saga link tree, click it. Because there's a TikTok. They got an Imgur, YouTube, and oh my god, there's even a fucking Instagram. I can't believe they did that. There's another Tremors fan group on Instagram too, Tremors Forever, which is like, what the fuck? It's amazing. Everybody loves Tremors. Yeah. I love you all. This has been a good time. It's been 3 hours and 15 fucking minutes. So I am gonna go do anything else. Probably just gonna stare at my phone. Actually, I'm probably gonna watch Stargate. Well, we are watching It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And oh hey, Alex and Evan and Helios, I saw you saying that you should, like, to the Tremor Saga, our flag means death, and I was like, oh, why don't I'll fucking give that a try. Our flag means death, people. So glad I got a season 2. That was heartbreaking. I love me some Mary. That was beautiful. So thanks, guys. Or like I said, maybe gonna watch Sunny, maybe some Stargate. Maybe gonna smoke this pen of just regular legal things. Completely. And yeah. Everybody have a good one. And remember, do what you can with what you got.